asking me what is wrong with Trinidad. You can't understand why things go on so bad. You find we so rich in human resources, and yet the country going to pieces. Well, let me tell you, my friend, where we went wrong. After Eric Williams' old car breakdown, we called in an AR, we ordered an X-car and installed a new driver. With 33 passengers from the party, we gave him a maxi taxi, fitted with mag wheels, tape deck, computer, air conditioned 8-cylinder. With posh new fittings, this maxi car arrived. Then it started to swerve and nosedive. It took a year for passengers to realize. They say the new driver cannot drive. Well, of the 33 chosen passengers, Ramnath, Pandey, Humphrey and Sudama, they wouldn't let the poor driver drive in peace. They distracting him and wouldn't cease. While he driving, they hitting him some big cloud. So he stopped the maxi and put them out. And to discuss their fate, they went to drink us straight by a club called 88. The driver called his sweet mouth friend Flash Gordon to give him some driving lessons. Flash appointed himself as the conductor, pushing around them passengers. Meanwhile, the car running about helter-skelter. Pedestrians started to scatter. Ellis Clark had to jump and run to stay alive. He says the new driver
cannot drive.
Yes, folks, we're back. Independent Talk on another Sunday with yours truly, Master Carl, Igwe, and the Don himself, KB. So with no further ado, I'll give way to KB.
Thank you, Master Carl. Listeners of Real FM, I'm happy to be here this afternoon once more with you. And brothers and sisters, we all feel your pain. Every day is one song. The cost of living is really high. I have problem meeting my commitments. Some of my friends saying, KB boy, I will stop take phone calls. When I pick up the phone based on who call, I answer. Because I know is someone asking for help. And I don't want to face that embarrassment. I want to tell them I can't afford to help. All we could do is to share a pain and ask them to stand up, work with us. And NNP will be the liberator in the next 4.5 years to come. We convince if the NNP unite. And if we do the political work, if we do the PR work, if we do the mobilization, if we do the organization, if we do the education, develop one's political consciousness, victory will be assured. So we're asking NNPIs to be proactive. Get involved in your political organization, in your community. 8, 7 of you all, sit down. Discuss the problem confronting this nation. Discuss the state of your party. Motivate one another. Encourage your young friends, your daughter, your son. Once they reach the age of 18, get them registered. Do something for your party. Do something for your country. We need every hand on deck. We cannot afford division. We cannot afford being complacent. Over the years, we've been asking the new National Party supporters to be more proactive and don't be complacent. You don't listen to us. You didn't listen. You feel we win already. You don't must go and vote. You must encourage your children to vote. You take everything for granted. We ask you to defend the gains of the new National Party, because you could lose it. They will turn back the clock. You did not listen. You was complacent. A couple of days ago, I looking at the television, and I saw the opening of this project in Subiz, Maki, Project Mastercard.
Yes, Subiz.
Subiz. And I was surprised of the commencement of that project, because I on radio all the time. I'm in St. Andrews. I don't hear one person mention about this project. I can't remember hearing a politician man. If they mention it, maybe they didn't emphasize on it enough, or they didn't mention it regular enough, or they mention it in passing. Because I'm in Grenville every day. It's not a project I hear people talking about or involved in any kind of conversation. When I saw the excavator packing stones on the beach, I asked, what is happening? They said, boy, NDC just come and look at the start a massive project in Subiz. Taking a back and asking, look, did they do any environmental study? Only to realize Miss Pear had that project in the pipeline for the longest time, longest while.
As a matter of fact, funding was received since November last year, about a year ago.
Of the project?
Yeah.
And
that project includes not only Subiz KB, telescope, waterfront, and so on will be enhanced. Lockers for fishermen, and so on.
You see, what bothered me, Master Carl, is that we fail to behave like the yard fowl. We fail whenever the yard fowl lay one egg, the whole village know. How come you have such massive project start in the pipeline by the new National Party and we don't capitalize on it? The PR is Sister Emlyn Pear. How come, Mr. Political Leader, you didn't insist and demand that she go on radio, she go on television, she had, go on the social media and boast about this project. Why we sit idle by and allow it to just go unnoticed? When I hear Toes Andrew said, we campaign on project like this, but we did not have the slightest idea the NNP had that project in the pipeline. I shake my head. Listen what Toes said in the opening ceremony. We campaign. We're going to do a similar project. But we didn't have a clue that Sister Emlyn Pay and the New National Party had that project in the pipeline and already secure funding for it. So when the people still look, NDC just come and they start the project, the NNP just remain mute. Because apparently nobody told them. We didn't do the PR. We didn't boast. And there was kicks on us early on when they were saying, boy, Dr. Mitchell and the NNP in power so long, they haven't done a thing for this country. But today, see, all of them with a steel hat, visiting project site, boasting, taking credit for it. Because we failed to take credit for it. We failed as a party. Now, you see water that fall under the bridge can't pick up. But we must ensure this thing will never happen again. And we should continue to boast all the project the NNP had on stream, and the NDC now embrace those projects. We want to congratulate them. We want to congratulate them at least, because one person said, KB, we don't have to do anything again. We don't must come up with no big project again. They have enough project in the pipeline. All we have to do is to ensure the implementation of this project. All we have to do. We can sit on a rocking chair and sing rock and roll for the next couple of years. Because we meet enough money there and enough project. If they could boast about this project, if they could boast about the amount of money left in the treasury, what's about we? We, NNP, that implementing and started it, we can't boast to. We that save the money, we cannot boast to. What happened to BPR? And don't depend only on Sister Emlyn Pierre to make noise. The responsibility is for every politician, every political activist, every NNPite. If you love your party and you want to see your party return to power, you boast the achievement of the New National Party. You know, I want to wish our Prime Minister, the Right Honorable
KB,
the
why are you giving a man a title what is not his? The Right Honorable is a title bestowed by the Privy Council. Don't join them.
Okay.
He's honorable because you know Right Honorable is a title.
Okay, Honorable.
Don't give out. You're not part of the Privy Council to give in all that.
All right, Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister Mitchell, I want to wish you happy belated birthday, which was yesterday. You are our Prime Minister. We wish you well. But at the same time, we have poor people suffering. Yes, you celebrate your birthday. Yes, wish well. But the talk around the tongue, fire them and give us the work. Fire them and give us the work. I was surprised when someone from the Pearls, Public Works Department called me and said, KB, they sent home all the young ladies, all the people.
They sent 8 letters was given out Thursday.
Yeah, in Public Works. After 10 years of service. You give them 3 days notice. You hand them Thursday and tell them don't come back Monday. I repeat, you hand them the letters Thursday and tell them don't come back Monday. We were saying, look, man, we understand. There is a change. There will be change. But treat your workers with dignity. Give them a little bit of dignity. You understand? Give them at least a month notice. If you don't have no reason, but still give them a month notice. You understand? And tell them thank you. But 3 days notice? These people are human beings. That's why the poor man in this country
the people, all them people and they may go since they come and see how the thing fat.
That is letters?
Yeah, and those who they work in like faith base and parliamentary office and things, that the amount of people they make go already,
And the man said no one will be fired.
Here is the empirical evidence.
No one will be fired. We heard it. Before the election, we heard it. And we all felt the pain of the young ladies in Public Works Department. Some of them have the mortgage, they have the children, they have the family. And the only crime they commit, you assume they are NNP. That is the only crime they commit. You assume. You don't know who they vote for. You was in the polling station with them. You suspect these people are NNP. So you at least took your pound of flesh. Well, if you agree with that, Shylock, continue to take pound of flesh. Continue to take your pound of flesh on road workers, public work, civil servant. Anybody you assume or you suspect used to wear green jersey or support the new National Party. Take your pound of flesh. If that is your way of transforming the society, okay, go ahead with your transformation, man. If that is the kind of transformation you're talking about, I mean, boy, you don't get much praise and more marks for that. That is your transformation? Make them go and give us the work? Give us the work? That is the kind of transformation you're saying? And openly, Honorable Honorable Deacon Mitchell was saying, we will not fire no one. No one. They have so much confidence in him, they call him Baby Jesus. When you hear the NDC talking, they're talking about Baby Jesus. Why don't associate these people's name with Jesus, please? Jesus always full of mercy and compassion on the poor and vulnerable. He loved the poor so much. That's why he said the poor will always be with us. He always have mercy and compassion on the poor and vulnerable. You're calling your Prime Minister Baby Jesus. But look at what happened. You fired workers left, right, and center only because you suspect they are supporters of the new National Party. And you're asking us in the next breath, you're asking us, let's unite and build country. Let's unite. We are one people. We are one black people. We are one family. You're saying that in one side of your face. And the next side, you find them. What political threat these poor workers is to the National Democratic Congress? What political threat? All they do, they get a day work and they go and vote. Some of them have reason for liking NNP. Sometimes NNP is the only party who offer them something. Sometimes Dr. Mitchell is the only person who stretch out a hand to them. So these people would be grateful to the New National Party. But that will mean you have to victimize them. You have people in the service who vote NDC. You have police officer, vote NDC. Nurses vote NDC. NNP come to power, take power tomorrow, you will make the police go? You will make the nurses go? How you unite this country? Grenada is not a big place, Grenada is a little place. We are family tied up. I remember, talking to some of my ex-soldiers who were involved in the massacre on the fort, who were involved in the massacre on the fort. And they admit, CKB boy, some of the people we jail, when we check back, we all a family, The country is so small. That is why you should not victimize these poor people. They're not a political threat to you. Find alternative employment for your supporters. That is your responsibility. But you're talking about transforming the society. Is to get rid of one group of people who you feel supporting the New National Party and replace them with your supporters, and you don't care what happened to them. You don't behave like that. And you have to be honest. People have to trust you with the truth. They call you baby Jesus. And you said, look, it is wrong, immoral to have contract workers. I want to get rid of that. We have in one civil service. Not one civil service. Not one for permanent workers and the next one for contract workers. No, we will done away with contract workers. Lo and behold, you start giving last set of nurses, you give all of them contract. 2 years, 3 years. Teachers, 1 year, 2 years. You just said so before the election. They call you baby Jesus. They trust you with the truth. And they said, baby Jesus will never lie to us. I want to play a clip. Let me hear the voice.
No, we have a call. Let me take the call before you play the clip.
Hello? Hello.
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 How are you?
Not bad at all, hello.
Yeah. This victimizing people. The victimizer is in Keriku. Sometimes beat. My granddaughter working in public works. They bring a man there to work together with her. And when she don't show the man the work, they fire her. I mean, this thing hurting me. And this thing just put thing in people's mind.
Don't go down that road.
I tell you, that's just putting in people's mind. What are they doing that for? They do along there again. Not they do along again. God sees they do along there again. Thank you.
Okay.
Play the clip for us.
Coming to you now.
I'm happy that any loans, if affordable, is made available to citizens of Grenada. The issue is not whether that's not the issue. The issue is you've placed a large group of Grenadian workers on contract. You've placed them in a position where they are unable to borrow through the normal financial institutions by putting them in a position where they do not have sustainable or sustained employment. And what that means is that you've made them vulnerable. You put them in a position where you now have to try and create a special lending scheme for them to borrow. And I'm saying even the special lending scheme that you've created, most of them are not going to qualify for the loan. And they're not going to qualify because you've already placed them in a position to disqualify them. Because they would not have acquired land. They would not have life insurance because they're working on 6 months or 12-month contracts. And if they're working, and if the jobs they are doing are permanent jobs, jobs that are normal customer requirements for the government, they should be indefinite employees or permanent employees. They should not be on contract work. And if they're not on contract work, they will be able to take part, like the rest of the persons who are on permanent jobs, in the normal banking and financial and the credit union systems in Grenada.
Right.
And that is how you create wealth.
Absolutely.
That is how you sustain and raise your standard of living. That is how you're able to save money. That is how you acquire a home or acquire a piece of land, or you're able to start a small business on the side. But when you put people on contract work, and when there is no need to do so, then you are putting them in a vulnerable position, and you are doing so deliberately. And so the question you have to ask is, why are you doing so?
Yep.
And in my view, you are doing so because you want to have the ability to fire them at will. So you want to create job insecurity because you want to be able to manipulate them for your own ulterior reasons.
Right.
Right? So let's make this clear. For those contract workers who are able to qualify for that GDB loan, I'm happy for them. But a significant number of them will not be able to qualify.
Right.
And the question is, when they don't qualify, what happens to them? They remain on contract work. So what has to be addressed is the fact that the government has to end this contract work, absorb the employees because they are doing jobs that are normal, customary, and required. Let's take, for example, a cook in a school. If you have a school feeding program, that job is required indefinitely. There is no reason to put a cook on a contract work.
Right.
And remember, when you put her on contract work, she has no pension. She has no chance of getting health insurance. She has no chance of buying life insurance because the incomes are very low.
Yep.
Right? And if you go to buy these things, they will say to you, well, we have no guarantee that you will have a job 6 months from now or 12 months from now. And so no one wants to deal with you from a financial perspective when you're in that position.
Right.
And I'm saying the job of the citizens, of the government, is to fight for its citizens, to protect its citizens, to encourage its citizens to be independent, not dependent,
Right.
not vulnerable. So that is the challenge we face. And I'm saying it is solvable by the stroke of a pen.
Yep.
And let me make this further point. It is actually illegal. The Employment Act clearly says that you cannot put someone on a fixed term contract, meaning these short term contracts, when the position they are filling is an indefinite one. So the government itself is breaking the law. The government itself is being lawless. So I'm saying in those circumstances, they should in fact end the contract work, regularize the status of the employees, and any other incentives that should be offered to them to make up for the period that they've been on contract jobs, in fact, should be given to them.
That's it.
So, KB,
Very,
the question is, KB, one, why is the Prime Minister not doing anything about contract work? Why? Because he says it is illegal to continue to do that. So is he presiding over something illegal?
but I'm shocked.
The second question is, he says it is easy to do by the stroke of a pen. So somebody give the Honorable Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell a pen for him to fix the contract situation. The third question is, he mentioned about the cooks quite eloquently. They're not entitled to pension and so on. But you make all the cook and them in the school go under the faith-based program. The same cook you talk about.
That should be permanent.
What you should be permanent. What about the cook? You make all the cook go, you preside over making the cook go. I never see it so in a country. You know?
But I wonder if his NDC people, supporters listen to Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell what he's saying about contract?
No, they
These
doesn't.
people listening.
They doesn't listen that. And in the same breath, those who are working in Paul's Airport, 10 years and thing, you make them go. But KB, let me tell you something. A lot of people now speaking about the idol surprising.
He surprised me.
No man, others do the DNA of NDC KB.
You see how the
and
man,
you know that.
but look how the man look pretty and innocent. You find he could lie. He don't look as people that could lie.
KB, I mean the reality of the situation, I tell you. Character is like pregnancy. You could only hide it for so long.
They call the man baby Jesus. You
The
don't
man-
think he go lie?
The man said to an outlet in Tobago that they campaigned, and I want that clips get. The short clip. They campaigned on transformation, but it's more about retroactive justice. They giving back. And that leads us straight down the pipe of the Ministry of Mobilization.
Have it here, listen.
So play that clip. Because when I come here and speak, I know it's facts are speaking here. I don't come here of my own opinion and emotions. It's facts.
I wonder if they could take it back.
Listen.
If not just
Listen.
List some future plans that you have for the Isle of Grenada.
if not your top 5.
Sure, sir.
The top 5.
Well, we campaign on a transformation agenda, and we've started one. Well, it's not so much transformation as perhaps restorative justice.
That's the word of the Prime Minister, is not so much transformation. They're not my words. I don't making up that, KB. And they faxing. So I wouldn't surprise me. So that can surprise you, KB, when he, in his deliberate judgment, in his own words,
Not
it's
so much
nothing about transformation. That his words. I didn't make up that.
So what they didn't get in the past, they want to get in.
And I have the whole discussion on that same thing. So they can say clip doctor and thing. And the whole clipping. So when I come here, KB, on any program on Real FM, and I speak, I don't speak my own words, And I told Andre Donald, the night of the election, when I hear 9-6 in favor of the National Democratic Congress, the cabal, I tell Andre Donald, poor people and poor people children getting beat up again. So when the thing start, and KB, there's a lot here to unpack. Now let me tell you something. The same rules they used to justify the AG. And as we on the AG, let me let people know about the AG and the importance of the AG, because sometimes a lot of things happen in the country and we don't understand. Now, after an election, KB, and under the Westminster style governance that we are part of, the one who convinces the Governor General that he has the majority in the House, the majority of support in the House of Representatives, that is 15, they become the Prime Minister. And because of legality and legal realms, the Attorney General is the second most important person in the cabinet or in the government of Greenland. So the Attorney General has to be someone of substance. And when the Attorney General ratifies victimization, we're in for trouble. When the Attorney General is one we cannot trust with the truth, and I will play a clip to prove to the people that. When we cannot justify that the Attorney General is one we could trust with the truth, we're in problem. And that's what is going on here in the country, KB. So when I come here, I speak facts. And I want you to play the clip to ratify, because you know all the thing what you say about the briefcase. Listen to the Attorney General.
The case took place in 2015, but typing or preparing the transcript was only taking place during 2019. So you're talking 5 years later, right? Sorry, 4 years later, at which time they discovered that portions of the transcript were missing because the recording equipment malfunctioned during the trial. And you're talking 4 years later, by which time the computer that the judge used was no longer, this is years later. People go through computers,
Listen,
how many at a time, right? So this is years later. So it wasn't correct for counsel to say that the computer was stolen because my information from the registry is that there is no report or evidence that the computer was actually stolen. But what we do know is that the computer was not available or accessible by the time 4 years later when the transcript was actually being prepared and the gaps in the recording discovered. So the next step was to get the lawyers, the defense and the prosecution lawyers' notes to help fill out the transcript. And as you heard from counsel for the defendant or the accused, neither of them took proper notes that would have been sufficient to fill the gaps and assist the Court of Appeal in coming to its decision. So that's basically what happened.
So the computer was not stolen, despite the fact that there was a theft at the registry, because I have confirmed that the
No, right. I think people are confusing. Yes, Kalisha, sorry to cut you there, but I think people are confusing two completely separate incidents. The computer with Alexander Clark's evidence, my information from the registrar is that that computer was not stolen because of the time lapse for almost 5 years in between the hearing and the preparation of the transcript. The computer was no longer available or accessible or whatnot, right? Because that's
As the end.
KB, the same Attorney General was on NDC Heartbeat and other programs talking about the computer missing. KB, the second most important person in the cabinet of Grenada, Carrico and Petty Martinique, the Attorney General, was peddling information, and I came here. I was the first one who jammed the information on the AG and tell her the truth about it, not in the situation on the computer and the transcript. But you hear her today, you say now counsel, and she was saying her part in giving misinformation to the Grenadian public. So when I jam the information on Real FM, they might go and do the research. Because when Ruggles Ferguson said no computer was missing, is the transcript, she was saying computer missing. And
She backtracked.
And KB, what is here? The person so if what she, because we have to take anything she say with a grain of salt, because the truth about that not in her. So okay, let me give her that. So we forgive you for lying to the people, but we don't forget it. So you say now the computer wasn't missing, right? Okay. So with all fairness, we give you that, but there's a question. The question is, the person responsible for that same computer, what is the thing does change and so on, who is that person? Who is the person what responsible, KB? Because sense make before book, seeing that you know people must go through and change, who was the person responsible for changing or getting rid of? That's the question you have to ask. Is it one of your friends? So you can be level with the Grenadian public, Attorney General level with the public. Because you do inspire confidence in you. Because you come, you talk about computer missing. You there on NDC Heartbeat about computer missing. You go on other programs, you go on cabinet brief. You got to look for a cabinet brief again. And compare and contrast. When she speak about the same computer business on cabinet brief. Because the truth about it not in the authority. So KB, even if we give her what she's saying, the fact that she know what she telling the Grenadian public that things does change and so on, who Tell us the public who responsible, who had it and they changed it or whatsoever, or misplaced it or whatsoever. Level with the Grenadian public because the Grenadian public what caused you to be where you is. Although they didn't vote for you in tongue. But by selection you end up as the AG. So your duty bong and your duty is to the public of Grenada and the public of Grenada. So you come now and talking about computer didn't really lose. And that's a separate thing. But you was on the cabinet brief. You and Joseph Andal. I'll get back the cabinet brief. You was on cabinet brief, you and Joseph Andal. And you didn't say what you say now about the transcript on the computer. So we want to know when we could believe you. So what I want you to do next time you come and speak, say, you could believe me now. Or say, today not a day you could really believe me. Because you're confusing the people. And you remember, like in importance, you're the second most important person. Because you're the legal advisor to the cabinet KB. That's a lot of people are understanding. This thing is not an ordinary thing. And if the holder of that position is one you cannot believe. Because, how do you say they vacillating? Because every time they talk on the same thing, they say something different.
She's the highest police in the land.
And you can't trust them, KB?
I'll tell you something, Master Carl. I just want us to lose track. The young people, they listen to Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. They listen to him in opposition. And look at what he's doing now as Prime Minister. When you teach them to lie, when you teach young people to lie, what kind of society you want to build? Openly you saying contract work is illegal. If it is illegal, why you as Prime Minister, Minister of National Security, leader of your party, why you doing the illegal thing by continuing giving contract, awarding contract to nurses, teachers and so on?
Because the fact is, KB, and I'm helping you here, they are awarded over 30-something contract to nurses for 2 years. They are fact. The fact is, they are awarding contract to teachers. If you have mathematics, you get in 2 years. If you don't have maths, you get in 1. They have not addressed the situation with the Imanis and other contract workers. And the Prime Minister is telling us it is illegal.
If it is illegal, why he doing it?
And the Prime Minister is always saying that easy to fix with the stroke of a pen. So why he not fixing it? But with the stroke of a pen, he give him ministers 2,000.
Well, I feel we must play that clip again. Play that clip again. Play that clip with Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell again. Play it again.
You've placed a large group of Canadian workers on contract. You've placed them in a position where they are unable to borrow through the normal financial institutions by putting them in a position where they do not have sustainable or sustained employment. And what that means is that you've made them vulnerable. You've put them in a position where you now have to try and create a special lending scheme for them to borrow. And I'm saying even the special lending scheme that you've created, most of them are not going to qualify for the loan. And they're not going to qualify because you've already placed them in a position to disqualify them. Because they would not have acquired land. They would not have life insurance because they're working on 6 months or 12-month contracts. And if they're working, and if the jobs they are doing are permanent jobs, jobs that are normal customer requirements for the government, they should be indefinite employees or permanent employees. They should not be on contract work. And if they're not on contract work, they will be able to take part, like the rest of the persons who are on permanent jobs, in the normal banking and financial and the credit union systems in Grenada. Right. And that is how you create wealth.
Absolutely.
That is how you sustain and raise your standard of living. That is how you're able to save money. That is how you acquire a home or acquire a piece of land, or you're able to start a small business on the side. But when you put people on contract work, and when there is no need to do so, then you are putting them in a vulnerable position, and you are doing so deliberately. And so the question you have to ask is, why are you doing so?
Yep.
And in my view, you are doing so because you want to have the ability to fire them at will. So you want to create job insecurity. because you want to be able to manipulate them for your own ulterior reasons.
Right.
Right? So let's make this clear. For those contract workers who are able to qualify for that GDP loan, I'm happy for them. But a significant number of them will not be able to qualify.
Right.
And the question is, when they don't qualify, what happens to them? They remain on contract work. So what has to be addressed is the fact that the government has to end this contract work, absorb the employees because they are doing jobs that are normal, customary, and required. Let's take, for example, a cook in a school. If you have a school feeding program, that job is required indefinitely. There is no reason to put a cook on a contract work.
Right.
And remember, when you put her on contract work, she has no pension. She has no chance of getting health insurance. She has no chance of buying life insurance because the incomes are very low.
Yep.
Right? And if you go to buy these things, they will say to you, well, we have no guarantee that you will have a job 6 months from now or 12 months from now. And so no one wants to deal with you from a financial perspective when you're in that position.
Right.
And I'm saying the job of the citizens, of the government, is to fight for its citizens, to protect its citizens, to encourage its citizens to be independent, not dependent,
Right.
not vulnerable. So that is the challenge we face. And I'm saying it is solvable by the stroke of a pen.
By the stroke of a pen, KB.
I tell you, some people who get involved in politics, good, normal human being, apparently when they reach there, they must lie. They must lie. But look at him. People trust him with the truth. The Imani trusts you with the truth. The nurses trust you with the truth. The teachers trust you with the truth. As you get in power, you do the opposite. Truth doesn't matter again. Truth don't matter. 30 nurses, you put them on contract. The ball arm will be king in the hospital. Ball the ball.
No, not in the hospital.
In his office?
That was strange. They didn't sign thing in no health place. They had to go in the ministerial complex and sign it. Like he's doing them a favor, you know. I don't understand.
But this man, you just hear the man saying, hey, contract worker, that's illegal. And we will get rid of it.
KB, them and them never believe they would have been in governance, so they feel they could have just run them out.
So they may just come and lie, give people just so. Hear the man lying.
Because he was one that encouraged people to curse in the campaign when he say take Susu and he put in the mic in the crowd and man singing the obscenities. Yes. That the only Prime Minister encouragement to use obscenity.
But he looks so pretty and innocent, you will never believe he go lie. You never believe he go lie. Just so.
Let's take the call.
Oh, we lost it.
Yeah.
Just so, KB. Just, according to Chuck, does just so.
And they christen him with the name Baby Jesus, you know.
Just so.
Man of compassion and
mercy.
mercy.
KB, the question I have to ask. Now, as a fella now, I look at things in an analytical way.
Hold on, don't go on.
Let me take the caller.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, concerning the project in Simon there, Ms. Beard did talk about that in our campaign. That was one of our talk in our campaign.
The project in Simon?
Not in Simon, in
Suez?
Suez. She said there's only one, I think, person that was handbugging. Maybe somebody that was there and they had to move. But that was in her campaign speech. She did talk about it.
We don't say she didn't talk about it, but what we saying here, among the mileage that Mr. Andrew is making about it, he just come and he say just so as he reach it happening. The amount of things he's saying about it, we don't believe when NNP was in power, a lot of people knew.
Oh, okay. No, oh, yes.
How a man saying as he just come, he campaigning on a project and it happening one time. We knew about the project because since November last year, we knew the potential of the project and we knew how far we was from starting and so on.
Okay.
Because the project is a beautiful project, and even watch, the National Democratic Congress tried to get into that project more than one time. Even the representative in Sister Delma's constituency, they find she will and trying to go and plant coconut tree in telescope, and when they realize the project will come.
Yeah.
So it's a project they knew about.
Yeah.
So don't let toes and others say they didn't know. They know.
Well, they know.
But fortunately for them, Them in governance now. The
Yes.
funding, everything. So ask them what negotiation they do to get any funding for the program, for the project.
That's it.
Ask them when they started negotiating. Ask them when negotiation was completed and the project was awarded. Ask them who is the group thing. Ask them how much money for the project. What is the cost? These are the questions what need to ask.
That's it.
Because if people like me know how much the project costs and when it start and all kind of thing, and they say they can't pay, they have to know. So tell them meet me any Saturday downstairs Real FM and we could discuss that project.
Right. Okay.
You keep your saying I'm an analytical man.
Yeah.
And I analyze things and I don't give things based on my emotions. He say about it is illegal and the Employment Act. He mentioned the Employment Act. So the question I want to ask the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, is acolytes and so on. If somebody work for 10 years, those you fire now, based on what he say, shouldn't you make these people an permanent by under the Employment Act you mentioned about? Because if they work in 10 years, and you say based on the amount of years they work in, they should be made permanent. Why you don't make them permanent? Why you firing them? You saying it is illegal for them not to be permanent, but you firing them. And they call this man baby Jesus, you know, heartless to the core. But he's a lawyer. The strain of law, what it does is corporate cutthroat.
They could spin.
Don't care.
They could
not
spin.
Not those spin. Don't care. Once they get it done, they don't care who. They don't care what the collateral damage. And even in fake wars, you have damage. You know, keep only when you're small and you're playing them hide and seek and shooting man body like they lie. They don't like they get damage. But KB have insane character.
Yeah.
And pregnancy is the same thing. They could only be hidden for a while. Eventually we go, no. That is the character of the Congress and persons associated. So I told you, I said to Andre Donald the night of the election, when I heard 9-6 in favor of the Kabali Congress, I said, oh God, Andre, by black man, poor people, children, and poor people go get beat up again, small businessmen.
Yeah.
The ordinary man go get beat up because these people don't see the ordinary man as anything. And these is the crux of the matter. So whilst poor people, children, and poor people they outside here, crying in. See what them and them doing here, okay? They taking $2,000 for themselves. They paying teachers, they know the same labor code say you could withhold your labor, but your employer must pay you. They still paying them and boast and say their achievement. So they don't care about the ordinary man. Simply put, let's take that colleague.
No, we lost it.
They don't care about the ordinary man because if it's that what they're doing, and that is the facts. But Kibi, what is frightening or deafening or strange to me? I haven't heard the conference of churches speak on that. Why you think is that so, Kibi? The conference of churches, the hand zip, the mouth on the lip.
I think there's still some people still giving the NDC a chance to see if they could do better.
So how much people go dead? How much people go out to try to find illegal means of surviving when they make them go? How much of that will go to happen before the church speak?
What about the trade union?
Well, I was heading there, just preempt me to that. I don't hearing them now. I ain't hearing them anybody going on like vigil and like Mass Anthony night. I ain't hearing them speaking for workers now. So workers, and they want the money and they want it. No, I don't hear them.
That's poor people children, you see.
I don't hear them.
Pay the teachers no. How much you hear making noise for the faith-based workers? Those poor people, children that were in school, they get fired. How much noise the union making on their behalf? How much noise the elite in the society making on their behalf? Those people who used to make noise on social media and say, pay the teachers now. You're not saying the same thing for the poor and vulnerable. What happened in Pearls? is robbing these people of their dignity, you know, Carl. When you send them home, how they go look after their kids? How they go pay their bills? These people take mortgage. You don't care about that. You don't ask no question. You give them 3 days notice and tell them to come back Monday. And the first scholar made a very interesting point. Said, look, they had someone to understudy his granddaughter. As soon as the man learned to do the work, they fire the granddaughter. In Pearls, no one understudy those people who were making up the timesheets and so on for 10 years. So what will happen Monday when you bring in a batch of people who have absolutely no idea?
Transformation.
How you transforming from one from one area to the next? That is your transformation you're talking about? That is the kind of transformation you're talking about? What will happen to the workers who are supposed to get paid next week, next month? Those who you had. You asked them to leave. You have no one at all to understudy them. What will happen to them? What happened to the system? It could fix everything with a stroke of a pen. You've seen that. That is why, brothers and sisters, you're asked in every village to get yourself together. Build your organization. Build your structures. Build your party group. Build your community group. Take that call, please.
Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon to Master Carl and Libre and Mr. Bullard Kennedy.
How are you doing, ma'am?
Well, I did thank God for the breath of life and to give God all the praise this morning and today. All those who's listening home and abroad, give God thanks for life. Yes, I listened to you when you start the program, and I listened. And you said something to me. And it hit me hard. Because you know something? I just come out and cut 4 bunch of people. Rock fillet.
Yeah.
And 2 bunch of logo. And 3 sorts of a pick. And you say, KB, that the sending home people, they're victimizing a lot of Grenadian people. Even NNP, NDC people. And the reason why some people vote for NNP, because Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Claudius Mitchell, did something for us, and we can't forget that. You understand? And he hit me hard right there and hand the blow on his feet outside there. Because if he didn't do that for me, I could not have cut 3 bunch of rock fig and 2 bunch of blow and pick 3 sauce up. You understand? And we have other people in Grenada, Carl Quantity Martin, that know that what Dr. Mitchell did for them. And he had NBC there before, and a lot of us was NBCI, and we never get that kind of help. So this is why we hold on to Dr. Mitchell, and I hold it until the end. Because this morning, I went and I gathered with Grenadian people to hear the word of God. And the priest said, that was the lesson this morning, that a lot of us in this country is ungrateful. And I go to ball out, you know. I go to ball out. He said someone like what he said, but it's the truth. And it's the truth. He hit him there on the head. We ungrateful. We forget over the years the thing that Dr. Mitchell did for this country. I'm not talking about Mr. Bodegu, you know. I'm talking about a sheet of ply, and a sheet of galvanized, and they give you $50 or $100, you know, when you really need a gas. I am speaking as a Grenadian, a woman of the soil, to see the work that Dr. Keith Mitchell and his leadership did in this country, you know, and he are Grenadians that they all over the world. Then years they go, they never even come back. If they come back in Grenada now, they go lose. They don't know where they're going. They won't even know how Melville Street turn around. But the day of day, running them out. It's a good thing I doesn't call you and beg you for nothing. If are you listening me, I know you're listening. You know, and they take all the credit for all the projects that under NNP leadership. I heard you talking about the thing up in its falls or wherever. They didn't have the belly to say, well, all right, we meet this project there and they make some mistake, you correct it and continue. You taking credit that you don't work, you don't work for. What are you making? Some people are going to believe all you. Some people that know what the NNP did in this country. Some home and abroad. Because over the years, I always have a listening ear. And I don't want nobody come and tell me what they do. I know what they do. From the revolution, from Gary time to now, I know. And I know Mr. Dick Mitchell, the Prime Minister of Grenada, competing Martin, listening. Say that program does air. It's all over the world. I see it on Facebook, Google all about it gone. And I know you're listening. I want to know if you doesn't think about poor people in Grenada, sir. My name is Camille Kiwiza Scott. As a vendor in Grenada, sell all by the road. I want to know if you're not thinking about the poor people, sir. And I know you come from poor background family. God bless you, you get a good education, good. And if you care about poor people, you don't send some people home. You don't send them home, sir. People crying out. And I'm coming on radio to speak about, to lie on anybody. I grew up on the street as a street girl. I know what hard time. And when I see children from Brizan and Boucherville walking, and I'm money when I go in town, I have to tell the bus driver, pick them them straight. I ain't say they don't have money, you know, but some of them walking, and I know they're late for school. So I want to know if you and your cabinet members, if you just have a good night rest and you are not thinking about the poor people, listen to me. You don't have to watch out for Miss Carmen. And you have to be afraid of me. Politicians that in Grenada, all politicians men good, you know. They men good because they want to be a politician. But when they reach the people, they have some of the secretaries and supervisors and other people, they put on a project to look over the work that was messed up. So you have to watch me, you have to watch who they are around you, sir. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Prime Minister. Don't me to watch. And don't watch Dr. Keith Mitchell, Claudius Mitchell now. The people are around you. You have to watch. And you see the poor people are suffering. The same thing that they put in, when the time comes to take out all, they go take out all you. I can't do me nothing. I'm speaking for me right. And I'm speaking for families that are hurting. And I'm speaking for people that are struggling. Because I live on the street. I mean, thank God. God turned my life around. You understand what I'm saying? And this is the reality in Grenada. I do campaign on certain things and I do vote in 100 days. You tell people to go legalize marijuana, I smoke me ganja, you know. And I looking out for that too. You understand? One nurse tell me, she's surprised when they say they go give them what they go give them. She's surprised she and them others, but they can't talk. They need a little job. People pray to go to work. Have a good day, Grenada. Dr. Mitchell, Claudius Mitchell. Take your rest, sir. Your name will always call, and God will always bless you. And I don't care what none of them will listening, because they just listen and they just call back. Some of them that want to be a politician, some of them that calling on all radio stations and say all things about calculating on them. I don't care. God is in charge of my life. Have a blessed day, Grenada.
Thank you, Cam. Cam, that was a good, presentation this morning. You did well. You to the point, and People get the message. Come, people get the message.
And when the people are saying to follow the money.
Get the
KB,
message.
KB,
Aye.
the Prime Minister, which is the leader of this country. Yeah, let me take the caller now, probably.
Hello?
Good afternoon, caller.
Good. The Lord be with you, brother. How are you do?
We're going fine,
We
fine.
okay?
Yes. The radio giving some trouble. Everybody calling me and telling me that I have 9 people in Westerhall. They say, oh God, me Jacob, I can't hear KB and them. See, kind of I don't know. I don't know what happened to it.
Well, we'll check it out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, sweetheart?
All right, I'll take care.
No, bye-bye.
KB,
Yeah.
both the Prime Minister and the leader of this country, and I explained earlier on the importance of the Attorney General. The history as lawyers in this country is not so far apart, you know, KB. They both, at some time, represented somebody or themselves in the court of this country against poor people children. The Honorable Prime Minister, we all know about his conquest, SGU, even during the pandemic. The story is well documented that a lot of people, because they didn't take the vaccine, they couldn't go to work and they lose their work. And the AG had this problem with the warden. She took them to court first round, she lost, she wasn't satisfied, she appealed. So the track record, they working against poor people children. And when you hear the Prime Minister in his utterance talking about government have to defend those people. But what we seen on display, he presides over the making people go left, right, and center. And these letters and these is documented the names and things of people. Look at it here.
Like who they send home?
Yeah, because all the people, from faith base, those they give letters to go, those they frustrate by transfer, and so on. They continue to pile up. But what is instructive here, KB, he speaks about 40 people, but in their action. And he presides over this thing. Not once he mentioned it. And we have some journalists here, they're afraid to ask him about that.
No, they're humiliating him.
The journalists are afraid to ask him how them people they make him go. And the Attorney General, when you see her on the post-cabinet brief with the smoke on her face, as one person put it, like she literally get an orgasm by saying how when people she's satisfied with making people go. You don't expect nothing more from them, KB, that they will do. They'll take advantage on poor people, children. But what I want the Honorable Prime Minister to understand, and the AG, but I could do man that thing, but you have a bigger man than all, you know, the ancient of days, you know. And he's a man of the justice thing. And with him, it's not justice delayed, justice denied. He is the best planner, the ancient of days. Let's take the call. Great.
Hello?
Good afternoon, caller.
Hello, good afternoon.
How are you this afternoon?
Yes, well, just, fine under the weather. Let's give God praise. And what's up with you all?
Well, we here doing what we need to be doing. Need to do.
I just want to raise 2 points,
Where is it?
During the course of the week, I passed through Montreach. That's in St. Patrick West. And it seems like that work on that bridge is completed.
Yeah, based on what I'm picking up, I think the work has been completed.
Yes. So what happened, I just want to share, when I look at the project, tears run down my eyes. And I remember George Wells, better known as Rocky, who once was a road officer in that area on the western
Give human service.
Human service. And I thought of just sharing that, because I knew the young man and, and his work over the years, and he passed, and I saw the completion of the bridge. And I hope and pray that credit be given to the NNP administration for that project. And also the Snell Hall Medical Station, I want you to follow up for me because I know that work has started. I don't know if it's completed, but the joy unspeakable to know, that that facility will be open because I know the patients that the people of Montreal, Snell and so areas undertake.
Yeah, what the end you there to go quite on sorters and so on.
And even Hermitage, And during the COVID time, to applaud all the people like Dr. Friday and many of them who had sessions, bringing moving around with the people in that COVID time and giving them the vaccines and other community health services. I also want to put on record to really compliment them, because I know they walked through COVID time very, very tedious, And so I just want to let the residents in those areas and the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit.
Yeah, but Carla, you made two salient points. But it comes back to the crux of the matter, what KB mentioned. So much of these things was in the pipeline, but people didn't know.
Right.
People didn't know. So the present administration now coming, recognizing and realizing by them men and them had all these things because they make this comment. They see how come they meet all that money in the treasury. So they used to say Dr. Mitchell lying when he's speaking out on economic issues. He used to say lie. But only to find out when they go in the treasury, they meet a lot of money. And the two projects you speak of would enhance lives and livelihood, and it already did by persons working. But we as a party, like we felt, okay, we in government and that is the obligation of government to do. However, a lot of those things was not sold to the population. So that is why the National Democratic Congress, the cabal, got away with saying NNP don't do nothing. And those of us who knew sit idly by and still said nothing. So tours could come now and say, as he come, he building jetty. When the project was almost finalized 1 year ago. And then somebody call and say, Miss Pierce spoke about it during the campaign. But where else? You speak now about the medical thing. And I saw the representative for St. Patrick's West, Mr. Handel, taking out picture by the same building and telling the people, and then we just come over, we go bring thing. But the past administration did not let the populace know all what was being going on. I don't know if it was for fear of something. Because them men and them come now. They do nothing, they inherit everything, and they're saying what they couldn't do in 5 years, we're doing it in 2 and 3 months. And as KB admonished earlier, we cannot continue. And we welcome callers like you with the information you have to come and speak and let the people know that the information we need to let the people understand these things already was in train.
Stick up in. I just want to say about another one I heard of is the Cedars home, the home for the women, the battered women. I think work is going on there, and I believe that's St. Patrick's East, so you should
yeah, but the representative for St. Patrick's East who ran for NNP, they didn't find it fit to let the people know. So I don't know if they had a phobia for something. And we cannot continue as an organization to be doing so much and having so much plans in place. And yet still don't let any populace know. So when persons say, NNP don't doing nothing, these information and everything come out.
So I thought of raising it.
No, splendid, and continue to raise issues every time on Independent Talk.
Yes,
The people must know.
I want the people to be aware of those projects and to give their input, because many will agree with me. And let us continue on that path, selling what our NNP has done over the years and continue going forward in bringing information to the people.
Okay,
So
thank you.
guys, you have a wonderful evening and all the best. Keep the good work up.
All right, take care.
Thank you.
The Igwe.
We'll take a break here and
Let me
come.
take a little thing. Independent talk.
Are you going to tell her?
This is Urban Life. You asking me what is wrong with Trinidad? You can't understand why things go on so bad. You find we so rich in human resources, and yet the country going to pieces. Well, let me tell you, my friend, where we went wrong. After Eric Williams' old car breakdown, we called in an AR, we ordered an X-car and installed a new driver. With 33 passengers from the party, we gave him a maxi taxi, fitted with my wheels, tape deck, computer, air conditioned 8-cylinder. With posh new fittings, this maxi car arrived. Then it started to swerve and nosedive. It took a year for passengers to realize. They say the new driver cannot drive. Well, of the 33 chosen passengers, Ramnat, Pandey, Humphrey and Sudama, they wouldn't let the poor driver drive in peace. They distracting him and wouldn't cease. While he driving, they hitting him some big cloud. So he stopped the maxi and put them out. And to discuss their fate, they went to drink us straight by a club called 88. The driver called his sweet mouth friend Flash Gordon to give him some driving lessons. Flash appointed himself as the conductor, pushing around them passengers. Meanwhile, the car running about head.
Igwe.
Yeah, man. So, KB, the last caller spoke some things there, KB. Some projects which the past administration initiated, engineered. And as you rightly say, it seems like most of the people don't know, so they leave room for this present administration to talk the cock and bull, to continue jackassing the thing by saying they just come and look at what they're doing. What do you think? What do you think was the rationale for not letting the people know all that has been done in the face of the opposition was saying NNP did nothing or was not doing anything? And now you realize the Congress in governance and 99% of all what they was doing, or all what they're doing now, was in train already by the NNP. And they claiming credit. Let's take that call.
Hello?
Mr. Carl, I just come in there for a second. Ministerial just called and saying about the work that the man did and other projects under the NNC. And she and others knew. KB said that the people should be giving out that information before, and we have to get together again. But these NNP supporters knew, and they never used to talk because the work they got now, they get so till they sit down, they have nothing to say. You understand? And now, NDC in power. More people that know about the projects and all them things must come out and speak out now. And other media houses. You understand? Because a lot of people don't listen to our radio, that program, most of them.
Now, a lot of them listen, they just pretend.
I know that, yes. But we have a lot of NDC people that knew what all of that. And they don't speaking out. Even the media houses, some of the media men and women that day, they know about this thing. But they're afraid to speak now. You understand? Well, when Dr. Mitchell, Claudius Mitchell was there was a certain media woman that always used to be on the case. Now the Parliamentary court. She don't ask in them, Mr. Deacon Mitchell, the Prime Minister, know nothing about these people sending home and about the projects, because she knows some of them projects was under NNP. So the hypocrisy, when I say about hypocrisy with the Grenadian people, but they go talk just now. When they start to feel the real weight under the NDC, they will start to talk. Wait, time longer than twine. Time longer than twine. And a lot of Grenadians know they come and they get everything they do under the NNP government. You know, all in the south of the island, all over Grenada. Because in a lot of villages where they had more road, they get nice concrete, although they say only road they building. And a lot of people in Grenada, Karakou, know where under the NNP, they build a lot of houses. And they put on a lot of toilets and for people's house. Who they have big toilets. So they know. So even if some people speak out at the time, but they know they have eyes to see. They have eyes in a lot of villages in this country there. So the hypocrisy and the wickedness in a lot of us. So we have to pay for what we do. So let me feel. I feel in the way, you know. I feel in the way, and I thank God I all the children, the grandchildren are sorry for, and other people. But they know a lot of village, they get nice road, they get house repair, they get houses in all different parishes. And all up here, look at some of them house close up still. Sotel, St. David. Look at the big project in St. David. You want to tell me where are they in the house that Grenadians didn't know that the building is big? Mr. Oliver Josie and then building all these big hotels over there? Why you want to tell me? They could only see the bad, but they're not seeing the good. Grenadians, afraid of you know, right now. Have a good evening, I'm listening.
All right, thank you. Would you repeat your question? You get distracted, Mr. Carl.
Hold on, don't move. We have a next call one time. Let me get rid of it.
Hello? Hello?
Good afternoon, Mr. KB.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon to Mr. Carl.
Just say squaddy.
Squaddy.
How you doing?
Mr. KB, how are you?
I'm fine.
Glad to know that. Some of the things you are saying there, I definitely go with it, you know, because I saw those things coming. While I'm totally an NMP, but I saw these things coming, and you wouldn't believe. After the election, I told Dr. Mitchell in the Concord School.
You might be too close to radio, Clifford.
I told Dr. Mitchell in the Concord School that a lot of people who were supposed to do certain work or certain positions did not pull their weight. And I have no apology in saying that. People thought that NMP win already, so we could come complacent. I'm very, very hot, eh? I will live with the new government. I have to abide with rules and regulations. And when it's possible to support, I will support. But I'm telling you, there are people who sit on their lorries and allow things to happen and say, when we get back in power. I personally know of people that said, well, we only come back in power. People was put in charge of things, and they allow people to do what they want to do until, I mean, it's hurting. And some people wouldn't want to hear me say that, but the fact is the fact. I know of an area where they send a tractor to cut a road, a bank, without noticing the people in the area. And I heard the fella who was supposed to notice the people say in the minister's presence, yes, we tell them about it, but we didn't tell them when we didn't know they was going to start. If you don't notice the people and you don't tell the tractor man where the area is cutting properly, that is seriousness. And I have a lot more to say. I'm saying that we were too confident. I personally wanted and know and I thought to all, if I had to bet, I would have lost because I would have bet at NMP winning the election. But I never wanted 15 seats and I never thought that we could have won 15 seats. I'm saying again that too much complacence went on, and I have the facts. But let me just back up what I'm saying with a little. I heard the new Prime Minister making some statements on the air where Callister was interviewing him. And she said to him that the ministers, present ministers, she asked them for an interview and they refused and they said they have to get the permission from the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister said, no, you don't have to give no permission. And Callister said she can call names, which she wouldn't, of persons, of ministers that directly tell her that. And the Prime Minister make it into a joke and said, well, perhaps they don't want to speak to you, they want me alone to speak to you. I'm saying, I take that seriously. I take that seriously. The word coming from the Prime Minister, I take it seriously because if Callister is saying that she can call names of ministers she has, it could be, and mark my word, it could be that some of the ministers are afraid to approach or to go to the interview if they did not stick to the Prime Minister. And the Prime Minister is saying that they have that will. And some of the things that he said, like for instance, when he was asked about the increasing the traveling for the ministers, the testimony he gave is that he was told this and he was told that. So he wasn't speaking as if he had any certainty. He said he was told that, and he said that if you don't give people proper payments and conditions, it could lead to corruption. I was not impressed with how he answered some of the questions. But I'm saying it again, the NDC is in charge. The Prime Minister seems to be very popular and getting more popular. I rest my case.
Is he getting popular among NNP people? Because popularity is subjective. Let me play the clip.
I have a clip here for you.
Because popularity...
Hold on, sorry. Coming to you here now. Huh?
Amigo.
I clip the volume. No, I know why. I'll be with me there.
Yeah, KB.
So much of things around here.
You could refer to Clifford?
No, don't start to talk yet. Look the clip. For you.
One of the issues we have to address as a society, and I'm going to quote the now deceased great former leader of Singapore. If you want government on the cheap, you will get cheap government. Part of the challenge we face here in Grenada, if you look at what government ministers work for, we could even compare it to the judiciary. Judges make $15,000 to $16,000, perhaps up to $20,000 when you add benefits and allowances. Do you know what the government ministers work for? They work for $6,000. With a $2,500 transportation allowance, that's the only reason they're up to $8,000 or whatever it is, the figure is. Right?
Some may argue that there are people in the country who work harder than ministers.
Yeah, but probably. Maybe.
Who go home with $1,500 a month.
It's quite possible.
And make it work.
I know our job is obviously to try and improve the overall GDP or income per capita of all Grenadians. But we also cannot be naive. If you pay the people who are leading the country and who have access to the state resources on the cheap, you are running the risk of corruption. That is the reality. Because let us not pretend. Being the Prime Minister, being a Minister of Government, and being an MP is not an easy job. And we could try and fool ourselves and suggest that it is not.
As the end.
First of all, Honorable Prime Minister, I want you to know that government, when you offer yourself up for governance of the country, 90% of that is our service, KB. Is our service because you putting up yourself. So you can put up yourself and ask people to support you. And when you get there saying by the money don't off. Secondly, the Prime Minister, you hear? Because every time they shift in the goalpost, and Clifford mentioned about popularity, but every time the Prime Minister and others speak on the same issue, they say something different. When the $2,000 was added, KB, the excuse was one, people taking advantage of the gas in Central. The second one was they had to get part of the money to pay drivers. But you hear the discussion with the Prime Minister now. It's all about they don't work in for enough. And they work hard. And it is woefully not enough. So nothing now about gas in Central, KB. Nothing now about paying drivers. So that was saying all along, when I jammed the information on them on Real FM, was just come clean, you find them and they're working enough, so you give them a forward. But whilst you give them a forward, you're making poor people children go. Whilst you paying transition lead $5,000 a month, you're making poor people children go. All until Thursday, you're giving poor people children letter to go. And you come in and tell me about this cock and bull thing. Mr. PM, no jackass the thing. No jackass the thing, because how you justifying that you taking all this thing for yourself? And poor people, children catching in. Electricity bill doubling. Cost of living. But you said, oh, if you want cheap government, you pay them cheap. It is about service. But you don't know about service, you know about money. Okay, everything you do is about money. Everything for you is about money, you don't know about service. Everything is about money for you. And that is the crux of the matter, KB, when I speak. I speaking on persons who should understand. Because the first time when the $2,000 come out, KB, was about who going and take gas and amount of gas in Central Police Station. And that was part of the money so they could pay the drivers. But here now, the truth come out now. They're not working for enough. You don't start to work yet. You inherit some project by the past administration. You don't do nothing yet for yourself. But you find the money don't enough. And Kalisha asked him a good question because there are people who working harder than them for $1,500 and they're making it ends meet. So what is the problem with $6,000? I want Dr. Mitchell and others used to say that. They used to say they lie. They shouldn't get pension in 2 terms. But now, as you go, you don't take out the pension because you're still entitled to a pension if you make 2 consecutive terms. But you put more money on yours, whilst poor people children out here catching in. You hear me here, okay?
Mr. Carl, my take on that is different to you and the NNPM.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in fully support of Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell to raise minister's salary. You know? Look at how much Sister Kate Lewis as a MP getting a month, $1,200. Imani getting more money than Kate. This is my problem with that. A parliamentarian You win your seat, you're serving in government, you're getting $7,000 a month. Some permanent secretaries getting more money than you. Prime Minister Dr. Kit Mitchell getting only $8,000 a month. I agree with that. I agree with Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell. That money don't enough. No Prime Minister should work for that little bit of money, 8,000.
But at the same time, you should take it from poor people.
What I'm saying, you should also increase.
So you should take force before you study
because
them.
them in charge and they have more commitment. Sometimes you go into an MP office. This is the condition there is deplorable. You sit down on some, let me finish this guy. You sit down on some hard bench. Sometimes without fan, without a glass of water, poor accommodation. What Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell saying, that must change. I agree with you. Give them nice air-conditioned office, well-furnished. Let the government pay for the building. Let the government pay for the furniture because they're representing the people, pay for all the utilities inside there. The next MP that come in to replace them, they must all inherit that equipment. I used to go and visit Uncle Tilly in Sotes, Prime Minister office. We're sitting on some hard benches. Poor condition. These people suffering at the highest level. You cannot pay them starvation salary. Right now, Sister Emily Payne could deal with a $5,000 a month as MP and give them enough chance to service the constituency. Mr. Honorable Deacon Mitchell is supporting you 100%. MP don't getting enough money. You need to pay them well for it to perform with distinction. I feel I'm so embarrassed. We in government for so long as NNP and we paying the opposition $1,200 a month. Imani getting more money than MP. No man, I don't support the NNP with that at all. I feel shame for the NNP and I feel shame for anybody who support that to pay Sister Kate Lewis $1,200 a month. Imani getting more than that.
Okay, well, let me ask you one question. Could the country afford it?
Of course they could afford it.
Okay.
They could afford it. We could afford to pay a politician $10,000 to $15,000 a month. We could afford to pay the Prime Minister $25,000 to $30,000 a month. You cannot have these people seeing, NNP and NDC are the past. Take real advantage on parliamentarian. And they both was hypocrite. The NNP know the money was not enough. The NDC know the money was not enough. But they wasn't saying nothing. It's something I'm very passionate about and I have no apology to make to NNP or to NDC at the past. I feel they take advantage on parliamentarian, paying them $6,000 and $7,000 a month. You could pay Sister Kate Lewis $1,200 a month. What she could do with that? That can pay she light bill. Imani getting more money than the lady. Mr. Deacon Mitchell raised everybody's salary, including agriculture worker, including those in the Indian store, including those on the street. You're raising yours, I agree, but raise everybody on too. And I agree, raise every parliamentarian, including those in opposition. Give Sister Delma Thomas and them a $6,000 a month. Give you parliamentarian 12 or 15. You take 20, 25. I fully agree, man. Because they're performing at the highest level. And they're making sacrifice other people would not make. Some people prefer to go to greener pastures, go in America, and don't stay and serve. These people prepared to stay and serve at the highest level, and you're paying them starvation salary. I have no apology for that. And I feel both the NNP and NDC are the past take real advantage on parliamentarian. And Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, I've given you the full support. Raise yours, but raise everybody else on.
Stick up in
Okay, what?
We have a call. Hold on.
Hold on.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I support the caller before the other two what gone then. We're telling you about the project and then what's going on. We supposed to talk about it. GIS, that was the government business. So the GIS supposed to put out the government business, well as the politician and them supposed to do it. We do things, all projects, the project what we praising there, We go in Parliament and sign and say, well, we get that fund to do it. As we come in 3 months in power, nobody didn't go and do that. That's already there in the pipeline doing anything. So don't give the credit where credit is due. Credit Kit Mitchell, Dr. Prime Minister, the past Prime Minister. You have to praise him of everything he do. Little work. If you see this little Grenada, when GIS used to put out Grenada for the outside wall, they could have never believed this little Grenada we have here. We can't see the little Grenada on the map. You two-sided, and I'm afraid to tell you two-sided. I know the Dr. Kit Mitchell go in Parliament to raise the minister's pay, and Louis Hutton in Econ Black, he said no way. So I don't know why I was saying they so far don't talk about it, because when you have to do things, you have to go to Parliament to do them things, and wheresoever they do it, and he talk about it in Parliament, and Louis said no way. So don't come and say what you're saying there. You're two-sided, and don't come on the air with two-sided, because you know how cut you through. And the thing is, people going in Hamilton's medical station are here in better health care, but Hamilton's medical station have no medical in it. They go to Sutton, the pharmacy in Sutton say no, they're not giving. And that is the better health care we come in Grenada for. Let me talk and talk. When you talk about things, do things. Don't come and preach things. Don't come and say 3 months and everything. When Dr. Kit Mitchell is in power, you don't have to say 3 months, give him a chance. He start to walk, and everybody proud of him in that. Give him a credit, and don't praise Mr. Deacon Mitchell to say X, Y, Z. You check it out. Don't say what you say, Nick Kennedy, because you are too...
Don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to say. You say what you want to say, but don't tell me what to say.
No. You are two-sided.
Well, yes, the point is that I will be speak your language all the time.
Don't come in here and tackle stupidness, because you NDC and you come in and use a supporter of NMP. Stop that stupidness now, and I don't like to hear it. Later.
All right. My point is that don't cover up for Dr. Mitchell and don't cover up for Tillman Thomas and them. Both of them had the opportunity to increase parliamentarian salary, and they failed to do it. They allow themselves to be intimidated by certain people in the public. You have to do what is right all the time and what is just all the time. And Dr. Mitchell failed to do what is just and what is right. Tillman Thomas and them in the past failed to do what is just and what is right. I have no apology to make for that. And I want to get back to your point, Carl Clayton. When you ask...
Hold on. Before we move on, let's take this call. Hello? Hello? Hello?
It is on.
What he do? Not he phone? Not me. All right. That one they do there. Let me take this one. Hello?
Hello, good day.
Yeah.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Clifford.
Right. Now, some of the things that KB just said are not in total agreement and are not in total disagreement with him. Somewhere along, you have some points.
Well, everybody entitled to their view.
That's what I said. They're not in total with him. But I'm saying the impression that we get from Mr. Deacon that there is money to spend. And he see means and way of getting more money. He said that if the other Caribbean islands cannot come together with Liad, he is prepared to hire planes to run to Grenada. And he's prepared to spend a lot of money on education from pre-primary right up to university. Right? So he's telling us that there is room. He said that there are a lot of people, a lot of vacants in the ministries now, and he intends to fill it. That's what's coming from him. That was coming from him. So KB kind of right in some of the things he's saying. Kind of right. But at the same time, you have to be careful how you're spending. So I am not totally there. You have to be very careful. Not because you say that you will just spend lavishly. But I agree that ministers' pay, a parliamentarian's pay in Grenada is very low. I agree with that. But it shows you that the thinking, and that is why I said about popularity and Brother Keaton was asking at what age area is popular. He's popular because the people are going and falling for what he's saying. I can't tell you if it's NMP or NDC, but what I can tell you that people are falling for what he's saying. So that shows a level of popularity. But I'm not in favor of what he's saying. I want that to be clear. But he's showing popularity, and we don't know if Grenada is going to be able to keep up with the pace that he wants to go. Next month we're supposed to have a budget, and the budget is supposed to tell you what the government can spend, and the areas he's giving us the impression is that he's willing to spend money. If we listen to what he's saying, he's willing to spend money. I don't know where the money coming from, and I don't know if he have it or if he's going to make it. But the impression he's giving us that he's willing to spend money and full the vacancies that was left unfull. We know that Grenada was under structural adjustment to some extent. We had the COVID, and I know that Dr. Mitchell and him was trying to steer things there because you just came from the COVID and you couldn't just lavishly put up anything. There's a lot of things in the pipeline that Dr. Mitchell and him had that didn't come true. And again, I'm saying that the personnel did not do a good job. And I'll rest there.
Right, caller. I just want to, before I get to your question you ask,
What's your question?
You asked me a question about the reason why we were not so proactive in our PR and so on. I'm going to come back to it in a while. A couple years ago, Oliver Joseph from St. David's, past MP, made a statement, and he said, watch, our take-home pay cannot take us home. Because every day, somebody in front your door with all kind of problem. The gas done, they buy the politician. They christening their child, they buy the politician. They getting married, they buy the politician. The house leaking, they buy the politician. They having a football competition, they buy the politician. The poor politician take home pay, can't take them home. And if the politician only refuse to assist, they say, you see, he don't give in dog bone. The poor politician have to use most cases his salary. I know he have husband, have to hide the money from the wife. The wife is politician. The husband hiding the money from the wife because the wife will take the money and give it to people. He have politicians know some in St. Andrews. If Sister Delma Thomas get a chance, she taking she husband money and give people. When they come to her, you have to understand the commitment and these people going through the problem they're having. So they need more. I rest my case with that point. The next one you come to.
Before you go, KB, I want the man to play the clip again for me.
We have a caller waiting a while.
Take it.
Let's take the caller then. Hello?
Hi. How you all doing?
Not bad at all.
KB, you still the manager in the market?
Yeah, assistant manager.
You're the assistant and the client guy is the manager?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how things going there so far? Good?
Good. We had the best run market in the Eastern Caribbean.
Yeah. But I think they're going to make some changes there soon.
Whenever, that is the right. That is the duty. That is the right. That is part of transformation.
Yeah, the security and stuff.
Okay.
I think that the NDC had caught the NMP administration with their pants down. NNP really thought they would have win that election. They've been building bathroom and toilet. They've been sending Imani, giving them different jobs. Imani was staying home and getting paid and wasn't going to work. They thought they would have win that election, but they get the surprise of their life. And I can see that they're still not recovering from the loss. But as a people, we need to come together as one at this time. Let's build the country. Forget yellow forget green at this time. And let's work together as one people. Because in the national anthem, we said, as one nation, we need to get together and put the petty politics aside. You all don't think so? I heard you all mentioning about the salary. The Prime Minister said the salary was 6,000. I do not see that as an increase in them. Because the 200 or whatsoever money, the 2,000 they put there, that's gas money and an extra driver if they want a driver. So I don't see that as an increase. And I supporting KB on that. Ministers should be getting more. You talk about people visit them day and night for assistance. But remember, when you're going into politics, you should, as a politician, you should prepare yourself for that. People will come at you at any time. And that's what I want to say here today.
Okay, thank you.
Let me hear the clip, yes.
Which one you want?
The last one.
The last one we just played it?
Oh, yeah.
Let me play it again, Phil. Number 5.
One of the issues we have to address as a society, and I'm going to quote the now deceased great former leader of Singapore. If you want government on the cheap, you will get cheap government. Part of the challenge we face here in Grenada, if you look at what government ministers work for, we could even compare it to the judiciary. Judges make $15,000 to $16,000, perhaps up to $20,000 when you add benefits and allowances. Do you know what the government ministers work for? They work for $6,000. With a $2,500 transportation allowance, that's the only reason they up the $8,000 or whatever it is, the figure is. Right?
Some may argue that there are people in the country who work harder than ministers.
Yeah, but probably. Maybe.
Who go home with $1,500 a month.
It's quite possible.
And make it work.
And our job is obviously to try and improve the overall GDP or income per capita of all Grenadians. But we also cannot be naive. If you pay the people who are leading the country you are running the risk of corruption. That is the reality. Because let us not pretend. Being the Prime Minister, being a Minister of Government, and being an MP is not an easy job. And we could try and fool ourselves and suggest that it is. It is not.
Now, my take on that, I respect KB's take, but here's my take on it. The Prime Minister in that clip no way addressed parliamentarians. He only addressed ministers. Because the AG do win seat, but she getting the $2,000. So he don't address MPs. If he said MPs, which include all who win the seat, all MPs, he didn't address MPs. He addressed ministers of government. And you cannot fix the situation, as KB advocate rightly so, by only for ministers. KB, you have to address MPs.
I agree.
You can't give in ministers 2,000 extra for traveling and don't give the MPs and them nothing. So, your argument is yes, and we all agree, and we accept the fact that the amount is inadequate. You are not saying it's nothing. But why address only ministers? And in those ministers you address and you give the $2,000. So when them lose their CD, people don't vote for them. And does that mean persons wouldn't go by Delma Thomas and cater them? But the other Thomas by Delma, they should get an extra 2,000 too. So if you address anything, don't jackass it, address the whole thing. If we agree that parliamentarians is all who they in parliament, whether opposition, government, it all. If you feel it is woefully inadequate, address everybody. So you cannot justify the Prime Minister by giving only ministers, and some are selected, not elected. Some of the ministers, the people didn't elect them. They were selected by the behest of the Prime Minister. And they get in the $2,000 traveling. So all this nonsense about pay drivers and all kind of thing is just pure jackassness. So if you are addressing it is inadequate, which we all agree. And you mentioned Kate and them. What Kate and them get? The $2,000. Kate ain't get anything?
They should qualify for that.
But they don't get in, so you can't, I can, with my right conscience, say he right. Because he do address parliamentarians. Because LACO get in it. The Human by Delma get in it. The AG get in it. Persuader and them get in it. The people don't vote for them. They were selected. So if you're addressing things for parliamentarians, address it. Do jackass it or do take side and so on.
Master Carl, I heard clip.
Stick up in this.
Hello.
Let's take that call.
No, hold on. No, we discuss it. Hello?
Yes, Mr. Carla, I agree with you. And the last caller that just speak there, he said they catch us with the pants down. All right. Okay. You win. But here's something. He said again that we all Grenadians, we should work together.
Good.
Right? That's what he said.
Yeah.
But you're sending home people, mister. And just as how you could come and speak on this radio station here and say, we should work together. You know, Jan Shaggy too. You must tell them, because they was listening too, and tell the Grenadian people, we should work together. You understand? You must tell them that too. So the hypocrisy with a lot of us. You understand? And Mr. Carl is right. The people that didn't win the seat, they give them the $200. And the opposition that win the seat, look at the little money you say they're giving them.
1,200.
So it's not right. You understand? And you care about people. So that's to tell the hypocrisy with a lot of Grenadians. You understand? And KB, that is you make your statement, we shouldn't get upset with whatever you say. You should get upset with what nobody else sees. Because everybody thinks alike. We think different. We see things different. You understand? So if that last caller say we must work together, and he's a supporter or whoever of the NDC or he's a supporter of the NNP, they shouldn't send home for people, give them a letter today, and then they have to leave Monday, and they have the children and they have the little bills to pay. But they're in charge, because that is the word they don't use. We're in charge, you know, and they're spiting some people. And your own people, when you leave office in the next 4 or 5 years, not the same people will meet on your way down. All you better be careful, eh? I don't write like some all, you know. Are they?
All right, take care.
And what? Against the backdrop, now I look at the total picture of this thing here. I don't only look at it for the inadequate here. The present Prime Minister, and I follow the language of people in Okibi. And when time I hear speaking on that issue, because I've done the research, the present Prime Minister indicated all year and since he come around, it's 10 years he intend to making that thing, so you want to get enough money for 10 years. So don't tell me it's about liking the people and them and about they working for enough. He secure himself. Because he say it's about 10 years he come around. So why stay around 10 years and leave it at that? And I could get all, if I get in 30,000 a month for 10 years, how much I end up in after the 10 years? But, and against the fact that Dr. Mitchell, we recognizing that everybody has to eat from the pie. And he don't want to think, although we believe it is inadequate, but Dr. Keith Mitchell take into consideration all and sundry, not a few ministers. He could have do it for a few ministers and forget he has to do salary negotiation and give public workers 4% increase. He could have done it and realize the social network programs and them have to be kept. Even in the bushing with the contract. All that comes into the picture. That is why I ask you, KB, if it could be afforded. I was not financial health of the country at present. Could it be afforded? And that is my question. I don't mean it is like I agree it is inadequate. But at this time, could it be afforded, and why you give only ministers on the government side or on the government side? Why not all parliamentarians? And then you say you come for 10 years. And as you come, the first song start to sing money don't enough. Who fooling no KB? Follow the money. Follow the money. As you come, money don't enough. When Dr. Keith Mitchell and thing, you beat up, your party beat up on even, they attack the fact that when a parliamentarian make 2 consecutive terms again pension, all that they beat up on. But as you come in government, no money don't enough. So only you what a sense about money. Only you what must be served about money. So all the time, oh, you come in for 2 terms and you're getting money. That was a problem. Now you come, money don't enough. As you come, you give $2,000. You say you don't take it for yourself. I don't know. You give $2,000. And then now, you make all kind of excuse. Gas in Central, who taking gas more than 200 per week, and to pay drivers, which you know is a lie. Because days after, minister drivers went to Parliament to sign a contract to drive. Even as so much, I had a very good friend of mine. You promise him to give him a driving work, then you tell me police record do good. Facts. So don't come and tell me about you so care about ministers and if you pay them little bit and thing. It's not about that. It's about how much you could bag in 10 years. How much you could put in your bag in 10 years. What is the crux of the matter? Don't come and tell me that and you so care about parliamentarians and if you want them to do good work, why you don't give Sister Kate and Delma and Per Joe and them and Emmeline and them, why didn't you give them to for traveling? So they don't have nothing to do. They can't solve they don't have to solve the constituent because you are Tessa and them to do it.
Calculating, I find you get personal.
No, I don't get personal.
With Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell. I do agree with you.
You don't have to argue, just like how you doesn't just how you doesn't argue with people. You don't have to argue with me, and I don't have to argue with you.
No, I agree.
Because the man say come for 10 years.
But
One at a time.
But you can't tell me come only to get $30,000 a month.
The man say come for 10 years.
Yes,
I could only deal with what he say.
Yeah, but I don't.
I'm not a mind reader.
And I find you get too personal with
that you view KB.
Dickon Mitchell.
KB, that's
I feel.
KB,
stick up in KB.
No.
Let's take a call, man.
No, we don't take in call it.
Yeah,
I allow you, KB.
Personal, I don't agree. You get
No, KB.
Deal with the issue and leave the person out of it.
KB, you call all kind of names in your thing, I never stop you, KB, let me disagree to agree. I allow you to rule. My view is mine. Your view is yours. I didn't tell you I disagree with you or whatsoever, and I allow you. We live in a democracy. And we see things different. Let me take the call.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you gentlemen doing? Afternoon to you, KB, and afternoon to you, Master Carl.
Good afternoon.
And a good friend on the technical side.
Yes, Papa.
Good, man. Good. I'm listening to you guys there, man.
Okay.
And just 1 or 2 points I wanted to make. The first point I wanted to make. As you all know, being a former parliamentarian, I understand a bit how the system itself works. And when I heard about the additional money in relation to traveling allowances, and so it reminded me of something. I remember when we came in 2013, that for the first couple months that we were there, I was not given a travel allowance. And the reason I was not given a traveling allowance was because I did not own my own vehicle at that point in time. So because I did not own my own vehicle, and I think that was something that was general around the public service at the time, if you didn't own your vehicle, you were not given the traveling allowance that was mandated for you. So I was not given a traveling allowance. That does not seem to be the case now, because I'm pretty sure in 1 or 2 instances, even full-fledged ministers do not have their own vehicle, but they are receiving the traveling allowance. The second point...
Like the man that be traveling in the black van.
Well, I don't know who traveling in black van.
They know.
One or white, pink, I don't know. What another point I wanted to make was this, that when I remember that senators were not given drivers. I know many of you remember for the entire period between 2013 up to this year, have you ever seen Senator Garraway, who was a full-fledged government minister? Did you see him with a driver? The same goes for government ministers who were senators. By and large, were not given drivers. I never had an official driver. A partner would help me out, and so because at the point in time I was not driving. So a partner would help out also, or another minister's driver would help out. But senators, in other words, people who were not elected but were selected, were not afforded a driver, right? In most instances, people drove because Senator Garraway he would drive, Senator Steele would drive, and so on. So people would drive, but you were not afforded a driver. Government ministers, MPs who won their seats were the ones who were afforded a driver. And I think it's a bit disingenuous to say that how the $2,000 is going towards that driver. That's not true. Unless the senators are going to do that and take that money and put towards the driver. Generally, the drivers for elected parliamentarians, the drivers who are attached to them are generally paid through the parliament itself. So to say that you have to give them an additional $2,000 to pay them, I don't know, it's only if they want to increase the salary that these individuals are getting and so on. And I'll take a position that many people may not like. I'll take a position of generally agreeing with KB that parliamentarians have been receiving too low of a salary. If you check the salary scale of Grenadian parliamentarians as opposed to the rest of the Caribbean, it is the second place. I think the only country that has a salary that's lower than the one that Grenada has was Dominica, if I could remember correctly. I think Dominica was the only country that had one that's lower. In fact, in Jamaica, parliamentarians who live in the rural areas, they are given additional money because they have to travel from the rural areas and to come into Kingston, and so they even have a different salary scale for what they consider to be rural constituencies, as opposed to the constituencies around Kingston itself or around the capital itself. So I agree that parliamentarian salary
one question, Sheldon.
Yeah.
Quantify what you mean by parliamentarians, because we have in our issue.
Parliamentarians in general. That's why I said parliamentarians.
Who you deem the parliamentarian?
No. All the elected and selected.
Yes. That's what I wanted you to clear up for me.
All the 15 in the House of Representatives, and all the senators in the Senate, all. Yeah, across the board.
Whether on the government side and on the other side.
Yes.
Okay. Because I wanted that clear because
I believe a senator, if I'm not mistaken, I believe a senator right now is receiving somewhere around $800 or $1,000 a month.
No, it is inadequate, and I don't against KB for giving the amount, but what has happened?
No, Carl, you have the whole program to talk.
Yes.
Let me talk, right? Yeah. Now the thing is that I agree with KB on that. I just do not agree with the timing. I do not agree that the timing is right. You just had a group that spent, in some instances, 9 years and were able to do what they had to do with that salary. And then you had some people that have come in and in less than 3 months, not even 3 months, less than 3 months, decided, I can't work for that. Without even understanding the job fully or without even really doing the job yet. I've decided that I can't work for that. I need to have that on. I think the timing is a bit off in relation to when it was done and how it was done. I think the timing is really off in relation to increasing the salaries because and this is the hypocrisy in the whole thing by some of the individuals. Over the last few years, you've heard them complaining about the fact that parliamentarians who have spent 2 terms get a pension, and you've heard them also complaining about the fact that parliamentarians get gratuity at the end of the life of a parliament, and so once they've spent X amount of time. This was something that was brought in 1986. It was not brought in by this NNP government. It was brought in backed by the Blaise government in 1986. And the same argument that's been used by the present administration, that this is something that's to avoid corruption and so on, was the argument that was used back in 1986 when that was put in place. So the same people that had a problem with measures that were being put in place to avoid corruption and so on seem to have, they had a problem with that back then, but they seem to have no problem with other measures being taken right now. And there's a bit of hypocrisy in all of that. And before I leave, just one more thing I want to say. I keep hearing we speak about transition. Any of you that watch GBN know that the death news on GBN News is transitions, eh? So you understand exactly what's going on when they're speaking transitions right now. Brothers, listen.
Make blow.
Yes, Scotty, thanks for the call, man. And you see, because KB, the thing about it, KB, like, parliamentarians should be for all parliamentarians.
Well, I agree for everybody to
it
get
shouldn't be some you're giving some and you're not giving some.
I agree, everybody.
Because we agree that the salary is small. And what? Salary is generally a KB. Because we understand cost of living and everything it encompasses. But to just give one side and don't give the other side, to me, is not being really transparent. And then you spoke of speak over the prime, but he is the person that made the utterances, so he has to refer to. But you see, KB, it's all about, like you say earlier on, the NNP has to understand what here is at play. And I believe, based on the admonition you give earlier on, if we do what we have to do, getting back into governance is not something that is impossible.
No.
And there are a lot of things which we're looking from the outside now. And we should see and do something about it once we return. We have a call.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
One and all.
Afternoon.
All the salaries, most of the salaries are raising. What about the elderly and some of the young minds that used to go to school and they're traveling, they spend a little money to travel to go to school, and some of them are home presently. So I want to know what's going on also. Because education is the key, as they normally say. And right now we have children at home doing what? Running about and playing and stuff like that. So could you give me a little light on that, please? Thanks.
All right.
KB, you reply to that.
No, you answer that. I have no idea what.
No, I think she's talking in line now because even the voucher system, KB.
Yeah, not functioning properly.
It was not functioning properly. A lot of persons get left out. One, because maybe administratively, and two, we believe that based on your perceived political affiliation. So, and the situation with a lot of people, and even some of the persons who have received letters and then keep remember they have children going to school.
Yeah, and all those in the geriatric care program that's looking after the elderly.
Yes.
Some of them will be going home.
Yes.
So this elderly, as what the lady mentioned, the last caller mentioning, these people will remain home unattended.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you send home these people who attend them, who bathe them, make sure they take the medication, you understand? Change their clothes, comb their hair, give them the will to live. You understand? Show that you care, make them feel important, make them feel significant. When you take away that kind of service, they will lose the will to live.
But KB, I really hope this present administration take these things into consideration with the elderly people and don't just take that program away from them.
No, it seems as though what I understand, someone told me this month is the last month for the person who helping look after my friend Fule in Tivoli.
Oh.
So I don't know who's going to be around to help him because
they might bring somebody else. Man.
And it seems as though throughout the country a few people will just get marginalized and left alone to look after themselves. So the kind of empathy, the kind of love and respect for the elderly shown by the NNP in the past, we thought these baby Jesus and his people will have more mercy and more compassion on the poor and vulnerable. But it seems as though they're looking the other way. Master Carl, I don't want to stray that question you asked me about PR, why we were so poor in PR, why we fail to do our PR work, that cost us an election because this government performed. You could say what you want about Keith Claudius Mitchell. You can't say he did not perform. You could say what you want about the new National Party government. You cannot say they did not perform because you've seen how much this present government embraced the project that was in the pipeline. But why we failed to sell it to the Gregorian people is because of poor PR. And Dr. Mitchell have to take the responsibility, take all the blame. Dr. Mitchell was the most successful general secretary in the history of this country after the revolution. Most successful. He understands what is at stake. How Dr. Mitchell could sit idle by and allow this party to have such poor PR and do nothing about it. But that goes to the history of the NNP. Because Carl Creighton, there is no consequence for MPs and parliament and political activists when they fail to do political work. No consequence in NNP when they fail to do the political work. They get out of it scot-free. Some MPs of the opinion they could sit on the rocking chair and sing rock and roll for 5 years election, they keep Mitchell winning for them. But that is a thing of the past, not again. You understand? They have to do their work, and they fail to do their work. And Dr. Mitchell failed to manage them. When they fail to, he treat them with kids' glove, he pamper them too much. He have people sit in this NNP executive that is windbag. They can't even bring a dead soldier to the NNP party, but they're in executive. It's who cultivate it. We're paying the price now for it. There is no consequence when parliamentarian or people in the executive who accept position when they fail to do the political work. They do nothing, nobody tell them anything. They get away scot-free. And they continue to sit in the executive night and day. Who you want to blame for that? Dr. Mitchell, you have to blame. He have to tell them where to get off. He failed to do it. He had to take responsibility. He's in charge. They allow everything to rotate around him? No. It should never happen. Everything should not rotate only around him. We all of us have to accept responsibility for our position and what we are asked to do. We fail to do the PR work and nobody will say anything because we fail to engage the party in difficult conversation. We fail to tell Dr. Mitchell how it is. We fail to tell Sister Emlyn Pierre how it is. We fail to tell Roland Bull how it is. We fail to tell Peter David how it is.
Everybody agreeing with you, KB.
We failed, we remain quiet, and we fail to engage them in difficult conversation. We face the consequence now. Everybody want to smile. When you see Dr. Mitchell, you smile. When you see Roland Bull, you smile. When you see this one, you smile. You don't tell them they have to do the work. They have to get in and put the structures and train people and make sure your PR working. They fail. We want to blame now. NDC? We blame ourselves. We fail to do the work.
Somebody said you're right, KB. The PR of NNP was not doing a good job. They did a lot for the country and nobody was saying nothing.
We perform with distinction. We perform with distinction, this government. That is why I will always proud to be INNP, because we perform. Walk with your head high. You deliver. But the party. See, you cannot ask Dr. Mitchell to run the government and run the party. One will suffer. One will suffer. The party suffer. Because the government function. You can't ask Dr. Mitchell to run the government and run the party. No. One will suffer. The government perform, the party failed to perform.
Hello.
Hey, afternoon.
Afternoon.
Hey, I'm enjoying the level of your conversation, and I think it's a good level. I want to say that KB is correct when he said that the party PR was very poor.
Very poor.
I remember before they had the constituency coordinators. People working in the party used to pay these people to work in the constituency for them. And they took out these coordinators after they win the second 15th seat. And I believe it was very poor of the party to do that. It was not forward thinking of the party to remove their constituency coordinators. People who were paid to be their eyes and ears on the ground and had to bring in information on different things on the ground for them. When they did that, I don't know why, if the money runs out or what, but when they did that, the party, I believe the party failed it. Another point again, KB, I disagree with you when you openly disagreed Mr. Keaton by saying, he's going behind personality. I think Carl went behind, you have two dogs in the yard. You have a potong and you have a pit bull. The potong bites you, you must say it's the potong that bites you. It's a potong that hangs on your foot. It's not personality you're going behind. You're identifying what and who is biting you. And I think, Carl, you're as well on par going after the potong.
Potong body in the yard,
He's biting.
Yeah, potong those body in the yard.
Guys who did not work, listen to me, these guys, the justification for what these guys do is very poor. It's below zero. Dr. Mitchell could not have go and raised salary when we was under structural adjustment and coming out of structural adjustment. Mm-hmm. The union was bad as Bogo. They would have bring down march down the street. But here we have a group of guys who did not even, the amount of work they do is not meeting one day work yet. One real day work yet. And ready to raise their salary. Using excuse to raise it. The justification is very, very poor. And I think, to bring up the saying that money need to raise and the money low, we're making this thing look bad. These guys don't work yet. If they do it a year after, or a year and 6 months into the you're just reaching the office and you're ready to jack up the pay. Something wrong. This is not how we Grenadians operate. We Grenadians like to work, and then when we work, we like to call for money. We don't call for money, big money first, and we don't even put on no work. Because we promise the people certain things, and we feel that we have them under this promise dream, this promise dope, so we could do them what we want. This is doing the people what you want. I'm very sorry, KB, but I think Carl did identify the dog that is biting. Thank you.
All right.
Let's take our break, Eagle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You asking me what is wrong with Trinidad? You can't understand why things go on so bad. You find we so rich in human resources, and yet the country going to pieces. Well, let me tell you, my friend, where we went wrong. After Eric Williams' old car breakdown, we called in an AR, we ordered an X-car and installed a new driver. With 33 passengers from the party, we gave him a maxi taxi, fitted with mag wheels, tape deck, computer, air conditioned 8-cylinder. With posh new fittings, this maxi car arrived. Then it started to swerve and nosedive. It took a year for passengers to realize. They say the new driver cannot drive.
Igwe,
Yes, Igwe, we back. And listeners, we here. And we here to give you facts. And on this program, Igwe, we mentioned a lot of things about the Ministry of Mobilization, and everybody is in a tailspin as to what is the importance of that ministry and so on. And I want to play a clip from the Honorable Prime Minister, because when I'm speaking of those things, I want people to understand it's not my making up or my doing. So I want you to play the clip.
I played it. It's right. That's a little quiet space in the start. How do you? Right, you come in.
List some future plans that you have for the Isle of Grenada.
If not your top 5.
Sure, sir.
The top 5.
Well, we campaign on a transformation agenda, and we've started one. Well, it's not so much transformation as perhaps restorative justice.
Now, I like to explain things, Kibi, when I discussing issues, because I don't want persons to be very, very clear as to what I am saying, and I always challenge persons, Kibi, to prove me or call in and say to me, Master Carl, you say X, Y, and Z, and that is not what it is, and here's what it is. You understand? So the Honorable Prime Minister mentioned the word restorative justice. And restorative justice is an approach to justice that seeks to repair harm by providing opportunities for those harmed. And in the supplementary budget, the new ministry was born.
Mobilization.
Mobilization means in the supplementary budget, and supplementary is to add something in, but this present administration saw it fit to bring in the Ministry of Mobilization. Now, I like to take things in a way where persons to understand. And last time we were here, KB, you being an integral part and a founder of the PRG, because your thing in the PRG, not what hearsay and people tell you, is what you know. And you sought to explain the Ministry of Mobilization then was geared at protecting the gains of the revolutionaries, and at the same time to provide for the revolutionaries.
Yes.
So, with that in mind, I took my shades off, my glasses off, my reading glasses off, and I put on my Marco Norman KB. And the Ministry of Mobilization, so I couldn't fathom why $77 million was allocated to vote 27. And KB, it is instructive to know what I found out, because they claimed I was to pay the transition leads. And we only find out lately that one transition lead was working for 5,000.
So who going into quality will get about 5,000?
Yeah, so that being said, KB, poor people, children, and poor people also catching in. They're making poor people and poor people children go because they say they wear green jersey. But we have photos with public servants supportive to the present administration was in jerseys, and the public service rules do have things. I will deal with that after, but I just mentioned it. Now, this new ministry has to be staffed to run the ministry. So we didn't hear anything about CVs. So the question is, what is the qualification for persons to serve that ministry? What is the terms and reference of persons who you hire? And where you will be starting, or what the salaries will be? And that is the question instructive to know. So the Ministry of Mobilization has to be staffed. So those acolytes and cronies and them of the NDC, but if you go and put them here to work in ministry and thing, because you see they full up the boats with them already.
Yeah.
But if you try to put them in ministry, he go raise eyebrows.
So where you hiding them in mobilization?
Brand Grimes and them go talk about it.
So you hiding them in mobilization?
So you staff them in mobilization.
So that is where the political activists will be?
Yes, and persons who know. will understand their salary scales.
Would be 5,000.
Not 5,000. I want them to know because I want to give them information and give them the little homework. So when we come back next we go to this salary scale is I, J, and K. So go and find out what is the money attached to I, J, and K. I won't tell you this week. But I want you to go and find out. And I want you to dispute it. Call me and say, Master Carl, that not true. So the lackeys and the acolytes and them, Ministry of Mobilization.
That's where you hide them.
So that is why they couldn't, or they don't want to tell us. They're just saying to pay transition lead and for projects and so on, but they couldn't explain because it is a mirror of the mobilization ministry in the revolution for the lackeys and the acolytes. So that they're doing on poor people back. But yet still, they seen it fit to continue to give letters to poor people and poor people children. Those who work for 10 years, and the Prime Minister say it was illegal, but he find it fit to preside over making them go.
Why rob them of their dignity?
So KB, you see, when I speak of these people, I'm not speaking about them in a personal, but I'm speaking of what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I have to call them out for what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? So when they come and tell you about the so-called concerned out government, ministers and parliamentarians, so they don't work enough, but they don't tell us about those they intend to start the mobilization ministry. So now, it's like they're using diversionary tactics, KB. Make you look so, and then staff the whole Ministry of Mobilization, and then when we wake up, all the lackeys and cronies working in the Ministry of Mobilization, doing nothing but just enjoying the gains of poor people children, and poor people children out here catching their nenin. So you understand the transformation of this thing? Is to make sure all the people get fat and paid at the expense of poor people children who they perceived is NNP people. So KB, they don't naive about what they're doing. So when I mention 10 years and a systematic plan and know what I'm talking about, I don't attacking no man personally, but I realizing the pain this country go through. And all of us people like me, you, KB, and others, we go out to fight blood, sweat, and tears to bring it back. So I forewarning the people now. Let them understand now. Because you're making people go and you use a fancy thing about the public service rules. Now you're telling them the service is no more needed. So is the service they was providing no more needed, or is the person that is no more needed? That's the question. So you talk about cooks in school and so on, but you're telling them the service is no more needed, but you're telling the principal, get somebody to cook.
The individual they don't want, not the service.
So that is victimization, KB?
Of course it's victimization.
You're telling them all around the way Jersey and against the public service rules. But you have people, yes, and you have some picture with them.
You have a lot of pictures with them.
You have a man you touting to be in charge of NADMA or second in charge of NADMA. The man they full clothes in yellow. But so the public service rules does not apply to them. But poor people children, you wear a jersey and you lose your work. KB, that can't be right, KB. That cannot have no moral, they don't have this moral authority. And look at it, KB, you pay the transition leads $5,000, KB. And if you go through the list of the transition leads, people who capable and they have. And poor people, children, and poor people you're taking it from. You look at debushing. They're looking forward to send the children to school, KB. You give them only 2 fortnights and you single out. Some for victimization because you see them in campaign with a particular judge. You don't give them, KB. You go and call people 80-something years to supervise the bushing. And you have young people you perceive to be NLP, you don't give them nothing. And they are the children, KB. So, KB, I must talk about these people. Then.
Yeah, the transformation is different.
KB, I can't do talk about it. I can't do talk about it. Ministry of Mobilization.
What?
So the people are I, J, and K. Find out what is the skills of their salaries.
IJ and K?
Yeah, I, J, and K.
I'm just kidding.
Master Carl, what threat is this road warden is to the
traffic warden?
No, the road. Those that the special gang that cleaning the road, prominent gangs on the road. Road warden. What threat they are to the political establishment?
Restorative justice.
Because someone said to me, minister met them and said, watch, Monday is your last, you know. Just meet them on the street and tell them like that. Monday is your last, you know. You treat people like that? And as minister, why minister must get themselves involved in these petty things?
You have a caller, Gates? Let's take a caller.
Hello? Hello.
Mr. Carl.
Hey.
Well, congratulations to you, sir, for educating people like me and others that is listening worldwide, eh? And also to Mr. Andre Donald, thank you, sir, for that great gesture and that program we have on a Sunday.
You don't thank KB too, that KB program.
And KB. Well, food for thought today. Congratulations to all of us. No, it's not, this is seriousness. You know something KB said earlier on concerning the ministers and their salary. And you have to have money when people like me and others who is listening. When we broke, we going by Peter. We going by Dr. Keith. You understand? Look at the light bill. You bring the light bill. You even bring your rent thing and show, and they put your hand in their pocket and give you something. You know what I mean? I sit down here and I say, well, KB is right. No, we have people that can't go nowhere. They can't go by the minister. They can't go by them. You understand? And the last caller did speak right. He said things that impressed me because I see this thing happening in Grenada. You understand? You don't even work a year yet. It's not even a good 3 months. And you're taking all the credit in Grenada. Well, are you going to make me go to the terminal? I don't have a problem with that. Because I'm sleeping by the hospital and I'm at the Catholic Church in the holidays. I don't have a problem with that. Why are you telling on people? I mean, KB just said they tell a man 2 days the last day was clean the drain and how a minister could tell somebody that? I don't believe that. I don't really tell people that, KB. Sometimes it's not everything you hear people say.
No, man, them people have heartless cons.
Oh, God, oh, Lord have mercy. Boy, these people and them had their family too. Sister Kate, Delma Thomas and their family. Or you have a heart now, these people put on work, you know. Them that work to help build, you know, that's what it is today, you know. You want all the credit? There is a God above, you know. All you have a God above. God let allowing certain things to happen for some of us to see. And all I want somebody say about the pastors and them in the churches that are saying nothing, you know. I don't want to hear all you know. Anytime I look come on the radio talking about God, I turn my radio off, you know. You hear nobody saying nothing now. Nothing. Eh? And I tell you, Pastor, don't call Dr. Keith Mitchell, don't call him now. Leave him man alone. I want to call him for. Don't call him man, leave him man alone. I get me mad too, don't call him. Some of you are them pastors, go and pray. Go in sackcloth and ash and pray for Grenada. Because destruction. Something will happen to a lot of us. A lot of us go suffer. I had to go past in it. But what we go and do that for? We have to blame ourselves too. Because they has warned us. They warn us, you know. And that Mr. Carl, the person pass and pick up the thing, eh? Andre Donald, where you there, thank God for you too. With that vision you had. And Grenadians listening home and abroad. I'm glad they're listening home and abroad. All them are in America and England all about. that don't have nothing good to say. And Dr. Keith said, Somalia, I did in America now. Keith Claudia picture head Somalia. I don't get policemen and people in the scene. I've gone. Have a blessed weekend.
All right, Cubs.
Kibi, you want another caller?
No.
Kibi, let me give you a scenario and a real thing. Eh? Now, we spoke about the inadequate. You are say it, and I agree. The amount is inadequate. My thing is about the timing and so on. Well, be that as it may, KB. In 2007, I entered into the corridor of powers. Into the corridors of powers with the New National Party, and I ran in the St. Patrick East constituency. I lost to Mr. Tillman Thomas.
By how much votes?
By a little bit.
About 40.
Yeah, and KB was against me that time.
Oh, yes.
So, KB, so I took the oath by Mr. Danny Williams, or Danny.
As a senator?
Yeah, and I was placed in the junior minister in the Ministry of Agriculture. Mr. Gregory Bowen was the senior minister then. And Dr. Mitchell called me one afternoon and gave me an envelope, and he says to me, these are some persons I want you to assist. With the $8,000 you're working for, and that happened the first month. Well, I say it was a one-off, I didn't worry. The second month, and it continues. Now, me being in my naive political state, as a political juvenile KB, I say, Doc, I find some of the people and them you help in they do supporting us. Dr. Mitchell say, watch, Keaton, the children have to go to school.
Sure.
Yes,
Sure.
He didn't say nothing untoward. He said, Keaton, the children have to go to school. We have to help them. But no, this government do helping them, taking the work from them, who they perceive against them. So even Dr. Mitchell knew or believed, and I believe that they were not supportive of him politically. It didn't matter to him about helping them.
It will be benefit.
So when they come now talking this thing about the money not enough, what KB, I like to analyze and be analytical like KB, and a lot of people can't take me on for that. No, okay. It is inadequate, as you say. You come in. Let me look at the RGPF in parallel. Based on the stability of this country, based on the control of crime in this country, you think the RGPF is adequately paid? The police?
No.
But you don't give them traveling increase. You promise them about some 1995 pay and grade system. You do talking to them about it again.
They must bring it up.
But you take the $2,000 and you're saying the salary. So, okay. So let me draw the parallel. So if you're paying parliamentarians inadequate, he say you go get an inadequate representation. So when you're paying the RGPF inadequate, you expect exemplary service from them. But so that is the crux of the matter, KB. Because he's saying, and he quotes somebody from Indonesia, you know, about if you don't pay in right thing, you don't expect that. And he mentioned the word corruption, KB. He mentioned the word corruption. So let me talk about talking only about the RGPF. So why you didn't increase the traveling allowance? And why you don't go back and talk to them about the 1995 pay and grade, because you campaign on it. And you tell them you go give them. You tell teachers you go give them the dark salaries, you give teachers. So give the police the damn money.
And the police ask for it.
Teachers didn't ask for it. You know.
What they demonstrate, they want.
No man, when he come in government, teachers never tell him nothing, he just give them so.
He promised them before.
But he promised police too.
Well, that's why the police must ask for it.
But why the teachers didn't ask for it and they get it?
Mm-hmm.
Because he said to foster good industrial relation going forward. So he don't want that with the police. And by time now, Minister of National Security and Honorable Prime Minister, Get the police in order. You have too much junior officers. All about in headquarters and others making too much a decision. Minister of National Security, I have a matter to address. I want to address it on this program today. Justice delayed is justice denied. Minister of National Security, I hope we don't have extra judicial killing start here. Minister of National Security, I hope you tell the RGPF when they kill poor people, children, they have to do better than that. I want to address it here today, but I have to address it. So tell Vanny Cohen and them I got to address it. Because Vanny Cohen and them I come my aunt Friday. And what I tell my aunt and them was woefully inadequate. This cock and bull story, all you start what? I is a man that was battle for the RGPF and I was back high, but when I start to jackass the thing, I will let all you know. I will let all you know. But not today is not the day for that. Yeah, KB, what I'm saying, if you want to fix certain things, KB, my thing is out, why take it out on the poor people children? The Prime Minister could take back these letters and them, KB. He could instruct that these letters be and let, if you feel the area they walk in, you don't want them, they because you have something you don't want them see. You could find areas for them, KB. How does it feel, KB? How do the Prime Minister and orders? And I'm talking to Mr. Lacrette. Mr. Lacrette, you was the conscience or claim to be the conscience of the NDC during the campaign. You're praying for, like Elijah, for rain to come and all kind of thing. Now all this thing happening to poor people, children, and you don't say nothing. Like you don't hear, you don't business according to the young people and them, you don't business.
Do you think
poor people lives matter too?
Carl, do you think baby Jesus aware of all this firing? I ask you.
Yes, Yahweh.
We have a call. You want to take it?
Yeah, take it, Carl.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I heard Carl Caton use poor people children 1,000,000 times today. But I never heard he used to use it in the past administration reign. But he using poor people children, you know.
Carl, let me stop you. Carl, let me stop you. Let me stop you. Poor people children is a phrase of mine long. I didn't inherit nothing from married into nobody and get inheritance. I doesn't be driving on the road and causing obstruction. When I talk about poor people children, they are poor people children. Whether you like it or not, they are poor people children. And they're making them go. And that is a fact. And I have the letters here to show. So if you don't believe, look at the letters here. Look at the pile of letters and the names of people they make go. Look at it here. So I don't making up nothing. So whether you don't like poor people children or you don't like it, that is a fact. It's a fact.
Let him continue.
It's a fact.
Continue, my dear fellow.
You can't continue.
Get it, man.
KB, these people don't want to come to the realization. On one side of the mouth, he calling all your and talk about unity. Let's unite. But anytime you talk about what they're doing to people, they don't please with it. But KB, what we saying about people they make go is facts. You know of it, KB?
Of course it's facts.
I know of it, and look at you even indicating you're not sure that it is so glaring that you find, nah man, you look at the Prime Minister know about it. Because it continues to happen.
Yeah, because I wonder he's the one that said no one will be fired. Take the call.
Hello?
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 Hearing you.
Yeah. Well, Friday gone. I heard a minister and some other fellas was talking in Greenville. And they say they have a letter for KB. So I don't know. I don't know how long from now you get it. That's serious thing I tell you, you know. I was passing. And I heard that.
I believe KB know that already, man.
You have a letter for KB?
Yeah.
So he getting cards and calls from friends he don't even know?
I don't know any letter, but you have a letter to get. I don't know.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a message for them. Gary had his pound of flesh. The revolution had the pound of flesh. NDC had the pound of flesh. NNP had the pound of flesh.
And you're still here.
And are still here.
Yeah.
So NDC could come and take the pound of flesh. They are the best Shylock in this country.
See Uncle Gary get easy.
Everybody take the piece. And are still here.
You have any call? Huh?
Yeah, we have one. Hello.
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 Hi.
Hello.
Master Carl and KB, how are you all doing?
Good.
Very, very good program today.
Thank you.
I'm trying to get away from the TV and the radio and everything.
What? They have it glued?
I have it on all about. I ain't making joke. Yes, I was listening to a man just a little bit earlier up saying that we should all work together now.
Yeah.
I wonder if when Dr. Mitchell was in power, he wasn't thinking about
No, only now they know about working together.
Only now they know about working together. But when you really think about it and when you really look at it, the moving forward transformation is for them. It does not include everybody in Grenada. It's only for them. You know, when you look at the board, you know, the persons on the board of the NAWASA, you have Philip Alexander, you have Tessa Sincere, and then you have Josephine Blash. You know, you look at them and you see straight politics.
And he treat too.
Yes. And then you look at the people that were working with the monitors and the sanitizers, and they were sent home, and you have the Attorney General stating clearly that they're not paying the people that were keeping the children safe from any viruses or so in Grenada. They're not paying them. Clearly, you know, that is a form of hatred. You know?
Right. You're so correct.
Right. And then Master Carl, KB.
Hi.
I must say that the new National Party PR is very poor. I make no apologies about it, because in a time like this, where your members, 33,000 members, they're looking for information. They're looking for some form of, you know, something that could keep them afloat, some form of hope. And at the moment, there is nothing. There is nothing that is keeping the people that supported the new National Party with, you know, they don't have any hope. And so it's only Master Carl, Mr. Francis Pierre, and y'all on Sundays that would show the Grenadian people what is actually happening in Grenada. You know, so we want our party to reach, you know, to come forward and do what they have to do. Because at the end of the day, I don't see the National Democratic Congress spending 2 and 3 terms in office, unless they do, you know, something magical for that to happen. And they are, because they are putting persons, their people, in place for that to happen. You know, and another thing, when NDC was off, it was not in power, Cam Jones and Nivea Newman was on all platforms talking about what what was going on with the new National Party while they were in government. I don't see why we have to stop. This 100 days is a fast. It does not show you well exactly what this government is doing. You have 5 years of this government. So every single day you need somebody that is able to pinpoint all the ills of the National Democratic Congress. They are doing a lot of nonsense. Not paying people, sending home people, and putting their people in place as if they didn't win an election, as if, you know, they're still into the politics mode. We are all Grenadians, And when you're looking out, you have to look out for everybody. So they don't worry about it. Let them carry on. Let them carry on the way they carry on. Because at the end of the day, they're not extending olive branches. The Deacon Mitchell, he's lying. He's not making Imani's permanent. He has just renewed contracts of the nurses. He has just done a lot. There's a lot of nonsense going on. So we just have to, do what we have to do. And you'll see that. They're staying there for 2 terms. They can't. It ain't happening. A lot of Grenadians are going through a lot of stress. And Claudia Joseph coming and talk about school children getting everybody got vouchers. That's a joke. That's a joke. I know a lot of people that did not get vouchers. And as a matter of fact, they put it in the hands of the teachers. The teachers selected who they wanted to get vouchers. And I could tell you that as a fact. I'm not coming here and spread propaganda. I hate it. You understand? I would not disrespect them, but at the same time, they are doing a lot of nonsense. The $2,000 they added to the minister's pay. The current prime minister, said that he was going to make all the monies permanent. He instead made the ministers get more money, and the monies are still not permanent. He said within a particular time, the monies are not permanent, the nurses are not permanent, the teachers still waiting for that. And all the projects and programs that are happening now is from initiatives from the new National Party. It's not from the National Democratic Congress because they have not yet passed a budget.
Correct.
They have not yet stated what their plans are from time of budget. So all of what's happening now that they are taking credit for is from what has been started by the new National Party. So I ain't bothering about that. Let them carry on their merry way. We need a proper PR from the new National Party, and listen, they're going to self-destruct.
Of course.
Just a matter of time. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for your contribution. Great contribution.
Before I go on, let me just give all you a little comment here. This one I'll go like. Comrade KB and Carl met the former PM wife on one occasion, and in our discussion, she said that Keith gets his salary, she have to beg him to leave back a little money for groceries because he will give away everything. And that is an ongoing thing. Every month he doing that. He sharing out all he pay. KB.
Well, I was close to Dr. Mitchell on sometimes the early days, and I know him. He gives out a lot, and he do usually tell people what he give or who he gives, because I think he enjoy doing that. There is a lot of people in NNP enjoy doing that. Dr. Mitchell enjoy it, giving people things. Peter David enjoy giving people things. Sister Delma Thomas and all of them. Even W in Guav. He's one enjoy giving people things. He have a lot of givers in NNP. That is why the party are blessed. And I'll tell you, those action by the Democratic Congress, there will be consequence, There will be consequence.
Political consequence.
Serious political consequence when you take advantage on poor people, children.
And they don't want you to say that.
They don't. Well, they could.
They don't want you to say poor people, children.
They don't poor. So why have to?
No, because they inherit all kind of things, so they could say all that now.
How long we have again?
That's the end of the program.
But just before we go, I need to say this thing. Now, this particular caller talk about unity, but it is on record that after the result of the last election, Dr. Mitchell called the present Prime Minister to congratulate, and the Prime Minister make it emphatically say, I didn't initiate that. So he's not the one stretching out olive branch. He make it clear to people he didn't initiate that. Parliament opened and Dr. Mitchell as a father, the father of the house, the grandfather of the house went over and thing. They say, don't let that man touch you.
I have a joke for you.
So they can't come and talk about unity now.
No, yeah.
Why did?
And people like say make you the PR for NNP.
We do the PR.
But what, since I come on the radio station here with Andre Donald, I tell them if they don't want to do the work and they afraid people.
You go do it.
Just give me the fish and let me do it here.
You say, job is yours.
All right.
No, I don't
Job is yours.
For the country and the party sake, no decision is hard for me to make for that.
We're telling them we're taking the job without pay.
All right.
Volunteer.
So take your callers and
Thank you.
listeners to Independent Talk. We had a good time today and we'll continue tomorrow. But I have a homework for you. Find out in the public service, IJK, what is this, what is the amount of money attached to those skills? And you go find out and you go understand the Ministry of Mobilization. What they going on? Take care, love you all. Be blessed.
All right.
When your daily grind gets a little too grindy, count on Real FM.